Good morning, Raptor freaks. Alexiot's here Sunday morning, and we have a lot to cover today. We've got two games to react to from yesterday, 9:05, losing to the Lakeland Magic at the last second, and a great Raptors victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves to extend our home game winning streak to 7. Yes, Raptors, you kicked some butt against the Timberwolves last night. I'd love to see it. Now, also, we're previewing a game for Milwaukee Bucks tonight, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there is a lot of ground to cover. We're going to hit the ground running. And I want to see what y'all are saying in the comments first. And yeah, we may be here for a little while today just because there is so much to talk about. Monique is here first this morning. Good to see Monique, super fan Monique Lawrence. Happy back-to-back game day. 3 stars of the game for Monique are Pascal, Fred, and OG. Time, effort, guarding Giannis. Best win streak yet. 905er for another day. Not happy, bad ideas. Keep Sterling, Gabe, and Brown. Okay, Monique doing my whole stream in one comment. Why are you doing that, Monique? One piece at a time, baby. Please. All right, so to start, she started with the 3 stars for the Milwaukee game last night. So that's what I'm going to do first. Listen, number 1 star, obviously, it's a toss-up. You could pick between Fred or Pascal. And it's really kind of funny that both of them had huge games and they were pretty equally both really good, because so many people keep talking about why can't Fred have a good game when Pascal has a good game? Well, they're proving them wrong. Because, Fred, 28 points, Pascal, 27 points, both of them shooting either 50% or higher. Just fantastic jobs. We'll start with Pascal. 35 minutes, 11 of 22. He hit 1 3, 4 6 at the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, plus 18, 27 points. Siakam in the second half, taking him on. It really was, at some points in this game, it felt like a Siakam versus Naz Reid, because Naz Reid was killing it for the Timberwolves on the other side off the bench. 8 of 10 for Naz Reid, 1 of 2 from 3, 5 of 7 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 22 points for Naz, including that nasty dunk that he threw down on Siakam. Well, I feel like there was a little bit of a okay, you coming at me? I'm going to come at you going on last night with Siakam and Naz Reid. And I loved seeing it because Siakam was dominant. Siakam was doing that stuff that you love, that kind of finish where he just kind of flips it or it just kind of goes in right at the last second. So good, Siakam. So good. I'm so glad that your powers are back to full strength, because when you are full strength, boy, are the Raptors at their best. And man, oh man, I'm a big, huge Siakam fan, y'all. Seriously, I want this man to succeed every single night he steps on a court. And when he does it, it's not that I'm upset with him. It's just that I expect so much from him at this point in his career, just because he has a level of play that he can play within, even if he's not scoring a lot, that should be night in, night out. And that's the thing. His passing has been phenomenal in the last couple of games. His defense has been much better. And there are just so many things to love and like about what Siakam has done recently, responding from the bad play on the West Coast trip. You go, Siakam. You're a badass. And I love it. You really were kind of the best player on the court last night. Fred VanVleet, very fantastic also. 10 of 18, 3 of 7 from 3, 5 of 6 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, a plus 17 with 28 points. Freddie, listen, man, you keep doing this, all these Fred haters are going to shrivel up and die from not being fed the things that they can hate about you, because there is nothing to hate about Fred VanVleet right now. So all y'all Fred haters, you go on ahead and shrivel up and die, because you cannot sustain yourself without things to hate Fred about. Well, you ain't getting fed right now, because Freddie is perfect. He's beautiful. He's amazing. And the things that I love that Freddie was doing last night was near the basket. People say this man can't finish near the basket. What a crazy false information thing to say. This man can finish near the basket. You never seen Fred do the little flips in the whoop, and using the rim as a protection, coming up underneath it. Oh, you can't block me if I use the rim. Boom. And then even We saw Fred doing some Kevin McHale up and under yesterday. Early in the game, Fred's like, I'm going to use my pivot foot, and I'm really going to pivot around, and I'm going to juke, and then boom, I'm going to get around you, and I'm going to lay it up, just like a Kevin McHale, Hakeem Olajuwon in 1988. Fantastic stuff, Fred. I love seeing the little man do the big man moves on the big man. So good, Fred. So good. Keep killing him. Keep killing him softly, Fred. Yes, yes. I didn't see Fred Jr. last night, and I was kind of sad about that. I was like, oh, there's Darnell, but I don't see Fred Jr. But it didn't matter. We kicked ass anyway. My third star is Gary Trent Jr. Once again, stellar stuff off the bench. They talked about this after the game. Gary's importance to this team, according to Nick Nurse, is he has to fill it up. This man has one duty, and that is to fill that basket up, because we need scoring. We need a guy that's going to fill that basket up, and Gary, he makes the order. What you need: 8 for 14, 2 of 5 from 3, hit his only free throw, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 steals, plus 17 with 19 points. I love Gary's performance last night. Once again, finding his shot, taking high percentage shots, not trying to force shots against like coverage, just really, really measured and smart. And then, of course, those 5 steals, him getting in the passing lanes as usual, him getting in there and stealing them. So fantastic. In fact, it was funny in Fred's interview last night. He's talking about all the steals that are gotten by OG and Gary and himself, and who is leading the team in steals. Like, he's like, well, OG usually is leading the league, is what Fred said, and Gary's up there. But Fred thinks that he would be very comparable with them if he could just get his block steals added into the steals category. He's like, I got to go and see how many of my blocks are actually steals, because this is an ongoing thing for Fred, that he gets steals counted as blocks, because he likes to steal this way, coming down with a hand. Well, if somebody's coming up with a shot and he strips them like this, they count that as a block, even though it's kind of ambiguous. It may be actually a steal. And that's what Fred's saying. But Gary got his season high 5 steals last night in the game. And I love seeing that. Gary Trent Jr., you go. And this is the thing. Nick has made it clear. It's like, Gary was just bad in LA because of his sickness, because he was ill. And that when he's not ill, he should be fine and kicking so much ass. And boy, did he. Like, he was really great last night. But once again, we have a situation with this team where I could pick 6 stars. Seriously. You can have 3 stars, Siakam, Fred, and Gary. But you know what? You better get maybe some shine on some of these other guys. Poeltl getting another double-double. He's actually broken his record career-wise for double doubles in a row. So this is fantastic. He's 7 of 8 last night. 4 offensive rebounds. Really big stuff by Jakob on the boards. 11 rebounds altogether. 2 assists, plus 12, 14 points. I love that double-double. Standard double-double from Poeltl. And we saw in the first quarter, almost everything in the first quarter was Poeltl and Fred VanVleet, both scoring like almost all the points in the first quarter for the Raptors. Really great way to start, actually, because Poeltl's shots are so high percentage. In fact, he started the game like 6 for 6 from the field. He didn't miss for a while there at the beginning. And that's a really good way to take off with your team offense at the beginning of the game. Give it to your big man and let him throw in some easy shots. And I really, really like how Poeltl played last night. He kind of did scoring for them earlier, but then he kind of reverted to kind of being a passer and different things like that. We saw him throw a beautiful lob to OG Anunoby from the high post last night. And, this is the thing. He can do so many different things to help us win, whether it's get a block, whether it's, play really good defense down low, get a lot of rebounds, be an outlet to make some shots, the pick and roll game with Fred. There was so much fun synergy between Jakob and Fred last night, with them playing off each other is a big part of Fred's 7 assists, Poeltl. Fantastic stuff. And of course, his write-up was very short last night on Facebook. It was 1 sentence. And I wrote in the comments, well, he can't write a lot because he's got to go straight to the airport and fly to Milwaukee. So you didn't expect an extensive report on the win over Minnesota last night when this man's got to run and get to Lester Pearson and get down to Wisconsin. Yeah. So, and then of course, OG, fantastic also, 6 of 9, 2 of 3 from 3, hit his only free throw, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, plus 23, 15 points. It's just really good defense by OG once again, just playing within himself, doing the things we need here and there. A key 3-pointer here, a nice steal here, a great dunk here. He has these dunks lately where they're just nasty. He's just coming there and he's looking for heads. And when he gets up there and he throws it down, isn't that fun? Like seeing OG unleashed right now is pretty badass. Oh my gosh, OG. The paint is your office, OG. It very much is right now, the way you're throwing it down on them hoes. Yeah, yeah, the paint is his office. And then Scott, Scott was okay. Scott had kind of a down game, but, he played within the game and he didn't make a lot of mistakes. So I have no problem with it. Sometimes this is all we need. He did get to double digits, and that's all that matters in some ways, because we like to see 6 guys in double digits for the Raptors every single night. We can't have anybody not scoring. And I'll tell you, it's going to be even more important tonight because I've looked at the Milwaukee Bucks and I've scouted them. And I'm going to tell you this right now. The only way we're beating them tonight is if we score 130 points. And that's the thing. We're going to need this firepower, all men on deck. Because listen, this is serious. The only teams that have beaten Milwaukee in the last 2 months have had to score 130 points. So we can't fuck around today. We need everybody, all hands on deck, scoring points to carry the burden to keep up with the Milwaukee Bucks and how they like to have a lot of scoring. Now, if this game turns into an ugly game like the first one we had against them this season, where nobody can score no points in the first quarter, and it's like 10-12 at the beginning, after the first quarter, that so be it. Maybe that will be a little bit of a defensive battle, but honestly, most of their games have been crazy scoring battles where they absolutely either trounce the other team or it's close and the score is like 130 to 125. So that's what I'm saying, Raptors. You're going to need to be very offensively efficient today if you're going to want to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Y'all are going to need all them scoring in double digits, if not more. Like 10 for Scott may not be enough tonight. You're going to need more tonight, Scottie, to keep up with the Bucks. But a solid game. I'm not mad at Scott at all. He played within himself. We had some nice assists by him. That one to OG at the end of the quarter to make that 3 was fantastic. We saw Scott hitting the boards. There was all kinds of good stuff about what he was doing out there. Really a glue role last night. And then Boucher off the bench. Listen, unsung hero, 5 points, 19 minutes, but he had one sequence where he blocked Gobert and then he came back down and hit a 3. And I was just like, you go, Chris Boucher. He was actually really key in this game at times. Fred giving him a lot of credit for playing his ass off and just doing some really good stuff for us off the bench. So Chris, in some ways, we got to give him some good shine. Not really scoring a lot, but getting on the stat sheet: 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Christopher, when you blocked Rudy Gobert, I love that so much. That was so cool. And then, of course, we had some garbage time last night, which was nice. We needed a little bit of garbage time because these guys, we didn't want to play them too much, although the minutes police may not be happy with how much we played certain starters. But for the most part, the only guys who really got played too much maybe are Siakam, Anunoby, and Van Vliet, 35 minutes over. But yeah, we got some garbage time, and we did see Precious get out there late. It was nice to see him on the court. I hate to see him relegated to this role at this point, but it really is a kick in the pants that he needs to play at a certain level to go into that fold that Chris and Gary are in. He cannot play badly at all. And he has to play very tuned in and on top of things. But he was fine. I thought he was fine in the last 3 minutes that they got to play. Of course, he was out there with Joe Weezy, Will Barton, Christian Coloco, and Malachi Flint coming out there and getting some of that garbage time. But a great all-around effort by the Raptors to beat the Timberwolves, who were in a lot of cases injured. Without Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, this is not the real Timberwolves, of course. But still, we need to win. We're going to win whoever shows up. I don't care who shows up. We're going to win. Got to win. And that's all that matters. So we got to take care of business. All right, now let's talk about the 905 since Monique has brought them up. This is a very disappointing game that happened with the Raptors 905 last night. They had this game. They made way too many mistakes throughout the game. Dumb mistakes, just not polished, not smart, unforced turnovers, all kinds of stupid shit. Easy layups missed, just all kinds of just inept bad stuff with them. In fact, they were controlling this game for most of the game against the Lakeland Magic. They had a very nice lead in the second. They had a nice lead going into the fourth quarter, but the Lakeland Magic, their threes just coming back and killing us and beating us. Specifically, this guy Jeffries and Simpson, they really killed us. And then this guy LaChance, he's a really good three-point shooter, making 3 threes off the bench. You know, their three-point shooting was just insane. Lakeland, 44% from 3 with 16 threes made. That's a really big key to why the 905 lost. Meanwhile, they couldn't make shots. You know, Jeffrey Dowden Jr., something's wrong with him. I don't think he's well, but because he did not play his normal self yesterday for the 905 was too bad. My 3 stars for the 905 in the losing sad effort of a 1-point loss that really kind of maybe put them out of the playoffs. Number 1 star, Sterling Brown. Yeoman's effort, considering that Sterling twisted his ankle so bad in the first Lakeland Magic game that he played yesterday. I was so happy to see him play, but you could tell his ankle's still a little messed up. But he's still 11 for 18, 5 of 10 from 3, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals. Really, really strong effort. Sterling Brown trying his best to get them somewhere in that game. And then I look at there's not really a whole lot of other guys I want to pick. Joe Weezy, maybe. All right. 5 of 8 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. Pretty good shooting, 5 rebounds, 13 points. And then I'm going to give the 3rd star to a guy who didn't get a lot of stats. His stat sheet doesn't look exactly great, but he was busting his ass. He was hitting the ground, rolling, running, flying after loose balls, just getting in there, mixing it up defensively, and just playing his ass off. Ryan Hawkins, I got to put some shine on you, man, because I saw how hard you were working yesterday to try and help the Raptors 905 win this game. And you know what? You ain't only gotten 4 points and 5 rebounds, but dude, you were working, and I really want to salute you. Thank you, Ryan Hawkins, for working your ass off. Now, this is really crazy. You know, the game before against Lakeland, they didn't have DJ or Ron Harper Jr., and now these guys show up and play, and they're coming off the bench, and they both didn't shoot that great. I mean, they were collectively 9 for 23, 2 for 10 from the 3. Just a tough game. And I maybe that Ron Harper's not totally 100%, and then he came back like Sterling to play in this game just because they knew this is like do or die time for them. But it was just really sad. They had it. They could have like really done a good job and just won it. But there was some miraculous threes hit by Simpson at the end of the game that really, really killed us. And I don't know. I don't know who to blame here. I blame the 905 for not playing tighter and less mistake-free basketball. And also blame Eric Curry for, I don't know, man. This is such a weird year with 905. I know it's hard for him to establish roles and core with so many guys coming and going for the whole season as far as personnel for his roster. It's like he started guys yesterday that don't normally start, like Tillman and Morsel. And, that was for a defensive look. But then again, the defense really wasn't that good because Lakeland was just scoring however they wanted to still. So I don't know. I mean, I feel bad. I feel like if Delano and Christian could have played more in the 905 in this stretch, they'd have more success and do better things in the playoffs. But at this point, now in the standings with them, they're in 11th. They're 14 and 15. They're a game below 500. And there's the next team above them is a game above. So they're a whole game out and not even close to being one of the top 6 teams in the Raptors in the G League Eastern Conference at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lakeland sitting in that 6th spot. See, that's the reward for playing well and winning. They won 2 games against us on our home court, and now they've got that playoff spot that we should have had. And meanwhile, we're 5 games out of the playoffs, five teams out of the playoffs with 5 teams ahead of us. Now, we only have 3 more games. They have the game on Tuesday against the College Park Skyhawks, who are the same record as the couple of teams above us. I don't even think if they win out that they'll make the playoffs at this point, because what's going to happen is some of these teams above them will win some of their games also, and they'll win. Even if they win out, they beat Greensboro Swarm twice and they beat College Park on Tuesday. I don't think it matters. I think that in some ways they may be already statistically eliminated, but we'll have to see. Maybe there's some sort of weird way where everybody loses and they win all 3 and they get in somehow, but I'm not holding my breath on that. I really do feel like the Raptors 905 season ended yesterday at a heartbreaking last-second 1-point loss by a guy who made a 3-pointer with coverage in his face. Ron Harper was right there in his face. With 0.3 seconds left on the clock. And they got a chance to lob it in to Kyler Kelly, but he missed the tip in. They actually had it pretty good, but he missed the tip in, and he was very mad at himself when he missed that tip in. So I feel bad for the 905, but man, this is just how it goes. And once again, I can be critical of saying they should have had better personnel going there for them to help them in this stretch run than they have this season. I'm really disappointed in how they've sent guys between the Raptors and the 905 and the logic behind it. It's like, sure, okay, we're only doing things to benefit the big team. Do you not care about that development team and what they do? I guess they don't. I really do feel like they don't in some ways. So, yeah, there you go. There's my coverage review of the Raptors 905 game last night. A tough one. 3 stars of the game: Sterling Brown, Joe Weezy, and Ryan Hawkins. Yeah. Isaac saying no Goran Dragic today. Sorry, folks. I know how disappointed you all feel. This is true. Isaac's gone and looked a little bit at the injuries. Let's go look at the injuries for tonight. The Milwaukee Bucks will not have Goran Dragic tonight. He has a bad knee, other than other ailments. And Jay Crowder won't be playing today either. His calf is hurt. Grayson Allen is day-to-day probable with his foot. And then Brook Lopez, the big ugly goof, his ankle's kind of messed up, but he's upgraded to probable ahead of the game today. So there's the injury report for the Milwaukee Bucks game tonight from their side. It looks like no Dragic and no Crowder, a couple of their new vets that they've added on. And then who knows, maybe no dirty-ass Grayson Allen and Brook Lopez may not be out there too. Of course, Milwaukee, they've got Middleton, Antetokounmpo, Javon Carter, Joe Ingles, Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis, Myers Leonard, Wesley Matthews. They have a stacked team with a lot of talented guys, a lot of shooters. So we'll have to play them really well. I feel like we play them pretty good, but this is going to be the first time we're going to play Milwaukee in a long time where they've had Giannis and Middleton playing at the same time. Usually one of them has been out. So it'll be interesting to see them full strength with both of their premium best players playing for them. So, yeah, there's your injury report, Isaac. Thank you for the cue. Monique is also saying Raptors main team is totally locked in now. You can see it. Love Pascal's interview with Kayla. So thrilled for Gary. My God, shots just beautiful. Monique is just on cloud 9 with this win streak we've had recently. And she's really liking the Gary Trent Jr. offense recently. And yes, Pascal, good in the interview after the game with Kayla Harris. And just a really good, just Kayla Gray, sorry. And just very, very good stuff happening around the main team. I just love that we won all 3 of these games in this homestand. This is fantastic. It's a great inverse to the losses out west recently, to have these 3 wins in a row against top Western teams, tough Western teams. These aren't slouch teams. We're beaten the last 3 games. Monique's also saying the NBA, what you going to say now? NBA standings, we're here. Raptors all day, every day. All right, let's go look at the standings since Monique brought it up. You know, last night we're doing standings watch. New York beat Denver. Okay. Orlando, big win over the Clippers last night. Russell Westbrook is blaming himself for the Clippers losing to the Magic yesterday. He said, this one's on me, guys. Okay, you guys lost to the Magic. That's really disappointing. In LA, Philadelphia taking care of Indiana. That's probably expected. Washington lost to Sacramento. The Bulls did beat the Heat, and they're a little bit closer below us, but game and a half behind us, but they're not so close. And then, of course, this is good because we do want the Heat a little bit closer just in case. I don't think the chances of us catching the Heat at this point are very good, but the chances of us catching the Hawks is very good. We're only a half game behind the Atlanta Hawks at this point. So, hey, listen, there's a couple things about tonight's game that can be really, really good if the Raptors can kick some butt and win this one. First of all, they can get back to 500 tonight. If we beat the Bucks, the prize is 500. Second, this will get us so much closer to the Hawks, and it'll really make us maybe hopefully in the upper play-in bracket. That is really the best goal for us to have right now, is get in that 7th or 8th seed so we can have a one-game chance to get into there. And if we mess that one up, we get another chance still. So we got to get at least above the Atlanta Hawks, and we're working towards that. It looks pretty good as far as things for us to do that. I feel pretty good about it. The Hawks are a little bit sliding, and we are looking a little bit hotter at this point. Memphis beat Golden State, and it looks like Boston lost again last night to the Utah Jazz by 1 point. Wow. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens with all that. The standings watch is always on, and every day these days. OG dunks continue to be massive and jaw-dropping. Yeah, good dunks by OG for sure, Monique. I like that. Tom Duke is here. Good to see Tom Duke, and Tom Duke will be here soon. I'm hoping we come out from the start strong and maintain that, whatever it takes. Let's get them rattled. Maybe Gary has some extra talking headbands for his teammates. Yeah, that's right. That whole thing with Brook Lopez and the dumb headband thing. Well, you know what? Listen, this has been a strategy that we've used recently in these few wins recently, where we get good leads and we have like 10-point leads. And you can see in the fourth quarter last night with the Timberwolves how much better it is to play with a big lead late. And there's no funny stuff from Ed Malloy. No funny stuff from the referees. And there was funny stuff in the game last night with the referees. They were kind of messed up. But our new attitude and our new way that we hold ourselves with the refs is smart. We're letting them do their shit, and we're not reacting. And we're just playing. We're just getting in there and doing the next play, regardless of whether they screw us over. They don't call calls. They don't do this. They don't do that. We don't care. We're just going to play through it all, and despite this. In fact, there was one moment in the game last night that was infuriating for Raptors fans. In fact, I think they did this shit on purpose. I don't know why Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong had to tell us about this, but the three-pointer by Gary Trent Jr., they called it right. I remember when Gary shot it, Matt said that's a 2. And he was saying that because, of course, the ref will signal what they think the shot is. It's not that Matt saw where his foot was. When he makes that call on the broadcast, he's looking at Ed Malloy to see what he's holding up with his fingers, whether he's saying that's a 3 or a 2. And that's why I said that's a 2-pointer when he made that shot. Well, they went and looked at it in Secaucus. They went over it like in the replay center, and they actually made it look like you could see the sole of his foot, the white part of his shoe, was behind the 3. So it was actually a 3. And they were saying on the broadcast is like, okay, the Secaucus is saying that it was actually a 3. Okay, well then give us our extra point. I mean, this had happened in the first half, and they're showing us the review of it in the third quarter. And I'm just like, okay, well, give us our extra point, and then it'll be tied 77-77. Well, they didn't do that. This is Matt Devlin said, but they're not going to give us the point. And I'm like, well, why the fuck are you telling us all this then? It's like, you just telling us this to get infuriated, us Raptor fans, because we feel like we're getting cheated again? Because that's how it felt. It's like, okay, they're going to say, all right, that shot should have been a 3-pointer, and we're going to show you the replay, but we're not going to go ahead and change it officially and give you that point. See, that's messed up. This is why we feel cheated. This is the kind of shit that makes Raptors Nation feel like we get the shorthand of the stick, and we get kind of bullshit things to happen. In fact, you shouldn't even told us any of that kind of stuff, because it just makes us feel like, yeah, we're getting robbed. But we don't care. Rob us a little bit. You're going to fucking rob us a little bit. We'll just do so much more that we'll overcome it and win this game no matter what. So, yeah, you go ahead and shave a fucking point off of Gary Trent. having a toe, maybe a big toe, slightly touching the line, when we could see that he was behind the line and he should have got a 3 for that one. So yeah, that kind of pissed me off. But think about it. When you saw that part, did you feel like, oh, cool, we're going to get a point? It's like they put it in front of us and say, yeah, they're going to give us a point back for Gary's 3. But then no, they're not. They're going to yank it right out in front of us. They said, we could give you this point back, Raptors, but we're not going to because we're the NBA refs. Motherfuckers, why would you even tell us that this shit happened then? Because this is the stuff that makes Raptors Nation pissed off at the NBA refs. And our broadcast guys were telling us what was going on. I felt cheated after that, didn't you? When that happened, I felt cheated after that. It's crazy. Crazy. Tom Duke saying good morning. Great W last night for the team. Yes, it was a very good W. Very, very, very good W. Jimmy Pope is here. Big battle coming up tonight. I hope our guys are up for it. Great win last night. Woo, let's go. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about tonight. Listen, we're rolling. We've got a really good synergy. We've got a really good balance with our starting 5. Maybe we're overplaying them a little bit. Maybe we're playing them too much. Maybe it's a little bit too much of an exclusive club where it's like, okay, you want to get in and get regular rotation time. Well, Gary, you can come in, but Gary, Chris, you can kind of go come in, but Precious is not allowed to come in right now. And I'm wondering about that. This is one thing Nick did say after the game in the press conference, that Precious will be playing today. I think that part of it is, listen, they ran like crazy last night. Well, Precious is going to be fresh tonight. And this may be like you're going to see Precious get his normal rotation minutes tonight. In some ways, Precious is very, very useful against the Milwaukee Bucks. Of course, we need another athletic big guy who's strong, who could run out there after Giannis and Antetokounmpo in some ways. So we should expect a bigger role by Precious tonight and expect him to get his rotational minutes that he's used to getting most of this year. It just makes too much sense. It's the second night of a back-to-back. He's fresh and he is useful against an opponent like the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm fully going to predict right now that Precious will get at least 20 minutes tonight in the game. It may seem like, whoa, he's not in the doghouse. He's not playing anymore. But Nick signaled last night that he's going to see time tonight. Trust me. So we'll have to see. All right, let's see. Nameless is here. Let's fucking go. Big W. The refs tried their stuff by letting Minnesota back into the game in the third, but it wasn't enough. They tried, though. Yes. Nameless noticing when the ref hit job was going down, when the whistle got really tight. There was a lot of calls every which way, and it was really kind of busting up the flow and the rhythm to the game, and kind of like really weird offensive fouls. There's a little bit of a hook here. There's a little bit of a travel here, a little bit of a lot of calling whistles, but it didn't matter. We weathered that storm. We continued to hold the lead during that, and we continued to bust them up. And at the end of the third quarter, we had a really good separation from them. In fact, they were kind of beating us. And then Siakam did some crazy shit in the last 3 minutes of the third quarter. We got this huge lead going into the fourth, and we never looked back after that. That was fantastic stuff by the Raptors, weathering the ref manipulation bullshit for most of the third quarter and making a really good run right at the end of that quarter to bust the game wide open. And that was really, really smart and really, really good. You saw that was going on, didn't you, Nameless? That bullshit. Yeah, Ed Malloy was doing a little bit of bullshit last night, but nothing too bad that we couldn't overcome. Thank God. Thank God. All right, Seymour's here. Good to see Seymour Pape. He is saying to us today, what is he saying? All right, let me scroll back. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Great convincing win. At no point in the game did I have doubt. Keep the wins coming. That's right. We do feel pretty confident. I mean, listen, it doesn't hurt that their best player was out, Anthony Edwards. I felt bad for that young man. Honestly, this is a guy who really does want to play every single game of the season. And to see him on the bench, not playing in the game last night, I felt sad for him because I really know that he really, really wanted to, but he couldn't. I mean, obviously, that ankle twist that happened in that Bulls game on Friday night was pretty serious. And it's too bad. Like, he's the guy that will play. If he really can play, he will. And he absolutely could not play last night. And in some ways, that's heartbreaking to me, even as a Raptors fan, to see that Edwards had to sit out a game this season. I don't like that, Timberwolves fans. Just in case You come and visit my reaction stream today. I don't like that Anthony Edwards was hurt last night and didn't get to play against us. I wish he could have gotten a perfect 82 game season of playing. And it really bugged me, seriously. The more I thought about it and what he said and been outspoken about recently, it makes me feel like, damn, I wish this guy hadn't gotten hurt and we could have played him last night, even if that may have meant we had a worse chance to win. Yeah, very, very crazy. Very too bad for him. I really didn't like seeing that. Nameless is saying the discrepancy between the officiating for both sides is wild. Little touches are called continuation for Minnesota, but I counted 13 elbows the other way, not called. Different sets of rules. Yeah. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. This is just part of the terrain. This is just what the Raptors are up against. It's not totally fair. We all know that, but that means we're more badass than most teams in this league because it's been like this for a while. This isn't anything new. This is what these guys know when they get up every day and come to work, that they got to be that much better than the other teams. And in some ways, doesn't that make them much more badass that they got to be like that? Well, let's go ahead and go beat the number one team in the East right now. Maybe the best team in the whole NBA. The first to 50, as Fred put it last night. They put the first team to 50 wins. And let's go beat the refs while we're at it too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's beat them all. Let's just be that kind of badass team because we got an amazing starting five and we've got a great six man that can fill that bucket up. Yeah, we just need a couple more of these other guys off the bench to step up and really give us some good solid roles off the bench that we can count on. Then boom, look out. We'll flesh out our lineup and maybe the rotation will extend to like 8 or 9 guys because a couple of those guys like Chris and Gary and Precious hopefully will be contributing in major ways. So we can feel like we have an 8 or 9 man rotation that's super, super solid. Will Barton start hitting more shots, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you watch them. We're all watching you refs. In fact, all right, you guys want to get the ref report for tonight out of the way? Let's go ahead and do the ref report for tonight. Our referee for tonight, our crew chief is Zach Zarba. We have not seen Zach Zarba recently, but he is a pretty good crew chief. He is another one of these big refs, but he's not as dubious. It's a really weird thing with Zach Zarba. At some points, we thought like Zach Zarba is one of the best refs in the league, but I've seen him do hit job on us. I've seen him fuck us over in a game in the last 2 or 3 years. And so he's a little bit like, I don't totally trust him. But for the most part, he's a pretty good ref. Like a lot of people in Raptors Nation feel like Zach Zarba is a very good ref. And I think they're right to a degree. But I can tell when he can be a little bit like manipulative on the down low in really, really like kind of weird ways. So we will be watching you, Zach. He's from New York, and his favorite TV show is The Wire. Rest in peace, Lance. It's so sad to hear that this actor has passed at such a young age recently. I'm so sad to hear that. But The Wire is the favorite TV show of Zach Zarba. His favorite movie is The Godfather. He would like some shrimp ganata. So get some shrimp for this man, Tom Duke. His favorite app is Twitter. He most like to visit Italy, and his hidden talent is cooking. You know, Zach Zarba is a very interesting guy. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in political science. He was a member of the basketball team at SUNY when he was in college, and he served as captain his senior season. So, yeah, he's a basketball player too, Zarba. He did play. Now, his record with us, let's see. He's not the worst ref we've got tonight. We win 51% of the time when Zach Zarba is present on a referee crew. The Milwaukee Bucks win 45% of the time, and we did lose the last game Zach refed for us this season. So the split is 51-45 for the Raptors with Zach Zarba. The second ref is, listen, this is a cool guy. I really like this ref that we got for a second ref because, listen, you go and look at his stats, and the Raptors have the highest winning percentage of all 30 NBA teams with this dude. This dude is the best ref. Like, we're his favorite team as far as, like, we have the highest winning percentage out of all the teams in the league, and that's Trey Maddox. Trey Maddox is living in Las Vegas. He's from Illinois. His favorite TV show is Power. He likes the movie Training Day. His favorite musician is That guy who had a chimpanzee in an amusement park at his house. Yeah, Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Quiet Strength. His favorite app is Flight List. Most like to visit Dubai. His hidden talent is he can play the piano, and he likes steak and lobster. Now, we've seen Trey very recently. Trey has refed a game in the last week or so. We have a 63% winning percentage with Trey Maddox out there. Like I said, that is the best winning percentage of all the NBA teams with this particular referee. We did lose the last game that he refed. So that was maybe one of those games out west that we lost. I think it was one of the LA games that he was there. He might have been there with Ben Taylor that day in LA, I think, with the Clippers. Now the Bucks win 57% of the time. So the split is in our favor with Trey Maddox also 63-57 with Trey Maddox. The third ref is Natalie Sago, sixth season out of St. Louis, Missouri. Her favorite TV show is I Almost Got Away with It. Her favorite movie is Hardball. Her favorite musician is Pink. Her favorite book is Legacy and the Queen. Her favorite app is Instagram. She'd most like to visit Fiji. She'd like to watch a game in all 30 MLB stadiums. And her hidden talent is juggling. We know Natalie Sago, Kyle Lowry's favorite ref. Her favorite meal is pizza. So we're going to need, for the meals, we need some shrimp, oranganata. We need some steak and lobster, and we need some pizza for Natalie Sagos. Natalie is a weird one. Now, you know what I just said about Trey Maddox as far as we're his favorite team statistically in the history of his refereeing? Well, Natalie Sago's favorite team history in the history of her refereeing is the Milwaukee Bucks. In the reverse, we won the last game that Natalie refereed. I think it was a recent one where wasn't she reffing with she reffed one of these games that we won on the West, or did she ref one of the games since we come back? I don't know. We did win the last game she reffed. 47% of our games we win when she's around. And meanwhile, the Bucks win 86%. That is an insane percentage. That the Bucks win 86% of their games when Natalie Sago is around. That is crazy. You consider this: the Trey Maddox highest percentage is with us for 63%. Meanwhile, she's letting the Bucks win 86% of the time. So that's the split: 47-86 for the Bucks. Natalie Sago. So, yeah, there's your three refs for tonight. Zach Zarba, Trey Maddox, Natalie Sago. That is the refs for this game against Milwaukee. Not a horrible crew. We got to see how Zach Zarba runs things. If he's cool and things are on the up and up, and I don't detect any really shady shit near the end of the game where he's trying to help the Bucks win, then that'll be fine. But we'll have to see. This, I don't know if I trust Sago tonight. Maddox is our dude, though. The second ref is our dude. Watch. Yeah. All right. So there you go. There's your ref report for tonight. Shirkan, good morning to you. Monique is saying, love how Chris Boucher came in. Aiming buckets. Chris was awesome. Chris is just doing important things that we need on the court, like hustling, getting after rebounds, making an important block, and boom, hitting a little bit of a three here too. Chris has been fantastic this season on the down low. His stats may be a little weird or look weird, but honestly, he has been so good this year and one of his best professional years in the NBA. Trevor Jason, good morning. Great win last night. Let's do it again. Let's get Milwaukee Bucks tonight. If the Toronto Raptors keep on playing like this, I don't think anybody will beat them. We are in a really cool groove, and we're an interesting team. We have so many different ways we can beat you. The addition of Jakob Poeltl has just expanded our team in so many different weird ways. We see how much better Fred is because Jakob is on this team. He's just made it easier for him in all kinds of different ways, whether it's him finding more open shots, whether it's him having an easier target to get assists off. There's so many good things about the synergy between Jakob Poeltl and the rest of this team. I love, like I said, that alley-oop he threw to OG. Like, listen, that's a big man throwing that really perfect alley-oop to OG to dunk it on them. There's so many good things to love about all the reverberations and outcomes that are coming from having Jakob Poeltl back on our team. It is so, so good. We are rolling, rocking, and rolling, and let's go. That's right. And I love that it's now much equal, and that in some ways there's a relief on Fred and Pascal because they don't have to absolutely carry such a burden. that it really is getting carried equally by a all bunch of guys. And that is really, really good. Cool Cats here. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. We grind out the W despite ref stupid phantom calls. Love to see OG happy, showing emotions. Oh, that nice OG said about his dunk. Happy to see Gary Trent Jr. getting rebounds and assists. Growth. That's right. Gary getting some assists, getting some rebounds. OG, when he made that one dunk, he took Pascal and he brought him over and he's like, let's watch it on the replay up top. He's like, I want to know if I got it with two hands or not. Because he did. He switched his hands. That whole play was kind of janky. In fact, I really thought that Ed Malloy was going to call a travel on Pascal because he did this really weird jump leap at half court and before he passed it. But he got the ball away in time that they didn't call a carry on him because it was that close. It was really, really close. Like, I was like, are they going to call that a travel? Because it looked like almost a travel what Pascal did. It was so awkward. It was so awkward, but he got it away to him. And then OG, when he makes this dunk from the side, it's like he was going up with one hand and he wanted to dunk it with one hand, but he switched and brought the second hand in at the last second and threw it down with both hands. And that was really interesting. I think that's what he wanted to see on the replay because him and Siakam, they showed them and he was like looking up there. And of course he smiles because that's been a big topic. Did you smile when you made the dunk, OG? Yeah, I think I did. I don't remember. Well, he made sure he smiled after this one, and we saw it on camera, and he's smiling, and he's looking up and trying to see his highlight. I kind of like this new OG that's playful and kind of fun like this. He's so about his business so far in his career that seeing OG kind of having personality and like showing kind of things like that on the court is fun. In fact, there was some points in the game last night where I was watching the game and I was like, OG's such a badass. Like, he's just a badass, isn't he? Like, if you really think about who OG is as an NBA player and just what he does, in some ways he's feared around the league. We've got to really understand this, that as a defender, he's feared around the league and his strength is so strong. I'm sure people really respect him on the court. Like, I'm sure there's not a lot of people talking out of pocket towards OG and Anunoby. It's like somebody recently said, nobody talks shit to Kawhi Leonard. Well, you know why you don't? Because you know he will fuck you up on the court offensively if you talk shit to him. Well, I would like to think that in some ways, if you talk shit to OG and Anunoby, you don't want to do that either. Because, yeah, you don't want I think they really do fear him. And because he's such a weird, awkward personality, with that in mind, it's kind of a badass situation, a combination. It's just such a badass. It's like, okay, he's weird. He's got these weird Staples commercials now, but he's also like starting to be confident more and kind of have more emotion and swagger and character on the court. I love this, OG. Keep going in this direction. I hopefully see mostly good things happening because of it. But yeah, man, oh man, we play through this bad reffing. Cool Cat, you know, you were there. You saw it in person. You saw this bullshit Ed Malloy and them were doing, but who cares? JB DeRosa was pretty good last night. He was very fair to us. I really think he's a great ref. At one point, he was kind of John with Fred a little bit. I was like, Fred, stop yelling at JB. He's the one we like. Go yell at Ed Malloy or the third ref, Scott Wall, who looked really old out there. Oh my gosh. No wonder we hadn't seen Scott Wall all season. That man looks like he's got one foot put out the pasture. Scott Wall. I know he's been around forever and stuff, but he's just like one of these old, nice refs. He's like the nice dad ref. Oh, okay, Nick, I'll talk to you real quick. Yeah, all right. How's your kids? All this kind of stuff. He's just a nice dude. You can tell Scott Wall is like one of these good cop refs that's been around forever, but he's not really like a leader ref like Ed Malloy. Because at some point I saw Ed Malloy kind of telling Scott Wall what to do. He's like, no, we're going to do this. We're going to do this and do this. And Scott Wall's like, okay. He's just like happy, nice, jovial looking dude. I love watching this sport so much and talking about it. It's funny. Troy Henry saying, we're cooking. Get out of the kitchen if you can't manage the heat. Let's go, boys. Number 4 in a row. Number 4, baby. That's right. Let's go. Let's keep rolling. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. We got to get that 4th one tonight, actually. It's not 4. This will be our 4th tonight. We've got 3 in a row. Thank God we've won 3 in a row. And our home record and our home winning streak is up to 7. These are fantastic things. We just want to streak. Monique is all about the streaking, and we need to keep streaking. Shir Khan saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Love the vibes in Toronto. The arena was really chilly as per Leo, but the Raps were spitting fire all game long, won all 4 quarters. Naz Reid was the only reason the game was close. Raptors got it done. You go, Shir Khan. So did you go to the game? That's a fantastic game to go to. It was weird last night. It was very chilly, and there was a dusting of snow throughout the day here and there. In the middle of the night, I look out and there's more snow on the ground. Okay, that's just how it is. Those arenas, they can get real cold. This is what Nick said about the crowd last night. He said that the crowd was very quiet and that it was a very kind of quiet game in some ways that needed to be pepped up by some of the big jams and plays that the Raptors made. That when it started, both benches were very quiet. The crowd was very quiet. And that Nick was kind of like, this is kind of a quiet night so far. This is what he said after the game. But then things perked up with some badass dunks by OG, a block by Chris, just fun stuff by Precious and by Pascal and Fred. And, it all woke up. The crowd woke up by the end of the game. But during the start of the game, it was very kind of quiet and weird. They had an awkward start. The Timberwolves coming off of a double overtime loss to the Bulls, and us just seeming like we weren't exactly sharp as we've been to start games recently. That was a little bit of an awkward beginning to the game. A lot of missed shots and kind of like goofiness going on. Rudy Gobert is a very goofy player. You see him doing all kinds of goofy shit during the game. He's just goofy. He's very goofy. All right, let's keep going. Jason's here. Good to see Jason Smith. Morning, Raptor fans. Good win. You go, Jason Smith. Good to see you here. And hopefully you join us again every morning, 9:30 a.m. I'm up to like over 550 days in a row live streaming on the Raptors. When we get to 2 years, baby, 2 years in September, every single day, 2 years straight. Live streaming in the morning, talking about the Raptors. You go, Jason Smith. Good to see you this morning. Fiercey Salsera saying, good morning, fam. Once again, amazing team effort leading to the win. All starters plus Gary Trent in double digits. Spicy P cooking in the third quarter. Magnificent game. On to the Bucks tonight. You go, Fiercey Salsera. Twitch family in the house. That's right. I love all of this. It really is important that we get those double-digit scorers. That we need at least, if not all 6 of them, more. We can get more guys, especially tonight. We're going to need this firepower. I'm telling you, a key to the victory tonight is we've got to keep up with them. That this Bucks team likes to have high-scoring games, and the only teams that are beating them are getting 130 points. So I'm going to keep saying this a couple times today. The Raptors have to get to 130 points tonight, and that means very, very much contributions from all kinds of different people tonight, helping to fill up that water bucket to get the right level so that we can keep our water level a little bit higher than the Bucks and get that win tonight. But that's what I'm saying. You got to get at least 125 points to beat them. In the last game we played them, we didn't score enough to beat them. That was the whole thing. They outscored us. So we have better firepower this time, and we have better weapons. So let's see if we can take this test. That's what Fred was saying yesterday in the press conference of the game. This is the number 1 team in the league. This is a great litmus test for us to see where we're at this point. We've shown some really good stuff this week. Well, let's go take it to the Eastern Conference leading Milwaukee Bucks at home on a second night of a back-to-back and really test the mettle and where we're at with this Toronto Raptors team. See just how badass we can be in this situation tonight. That's what I'm all about today. Yes, let's test this. Let's test this team against a very top team in this league, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah. G saying 6 players in double digits. Nice team win. I think that it just needs to be the normal now. Those guys all need to get double digits. Every single one of them, every single night. Scott, you made it. 10 points is enough. That's double digits. But you got to at least get 10 points. And no more of these dud nights. Gary, we need you to score double digits every single time off the bench. We just need that bench scoring. In some ways, you're the only one scoring anything off the bench. 19 of our, it looks like we only had 28 bench points. 19 of our 28 bench points. Yeah! That's a lot, and that is important. So, Gary, we need you, man. Shir Khan saying Scottie only 30% from the field. Guy was bringing the vibes. That and one on the break was so cool with the look back jam. Precious with one bad 3-point attempt and a turnover. Just need more time for him. Yeah, Precious' confidence may be a little shook at this moment just because he's seeing that he's kind of with the Malachi side of the bench more now at this point. But he'll figure it all out. I'm glad you brought up Scottie's dunk. That was a really good dunk. He had a guy on his shoulder and he hit him. And yeah, the look back, that's his signature move. I don't like it because it's not technically good, but he does it. And it was such a forceful dunk. I loved seeing that from Scott. He didn't really score a lot in the first half. Almost everything he did was in the second half, but everything was fine with Scott. He didn't look egregiously bad with mistakes, and he played within himself, and he definitely contributed to helping to the win in different ways that are somewhat intangible. And this is the thing. Some fans may look at Scottie Barnes' score and what he did last night and be like, yeah, he sucks. He's not as good this year as he was last year. But they don't see the underlying things that he's doing, playing within the team, playing with really good defense on the team defense side, just playing and facilitating and not necessarily taking the shots himself. That over-the-shoulder pass to OG Anunoby was fantastic. And it really was, it showed a high basketball IQ to know, first of all, how much time is on the clock, to also know, okay, I've got a guy I can see with eyes behind the back of my head that's over there in the corner, and I know OG's money. And it worked out just perfectly. He got the ball to him fast enough. If you saw how much he whipped that ball over his shoulder to OG in that moment, that is such high-level basketball IQ kind of shit, because he had to give it to him in a certain way. He made a really crazy pass, and then he had to give him enough time with the clock on to get the shot in motion, in his correct motion, so he can do it right and nail it right at the last second. It's just perfect and beautiful basketball, and that's the kind of shit I love to see. So you go, Scottie Barnes. You may not have scored a lot yourself, but you definitely helped contribute to a lot of things. It was really, really good. Nameless is saying heartbreaking 905 game. Such BS. Listen, they can all they have to do is blame themselves. There were too many mental lapses. There were too many miscues. There were really dumb, poor, letdowns on defense that allowed them easy layups. Losing guys on the outside. The 905 were not a good defensive team this year. So in some ways, what they needed to do was they needed to win the shootout. And when you have a team that has like Joe Weezy, Ryan Hawkins, Gabe Brown, David Johnson, even Ron Harper Jr. with his goofy shoot this way, you should be winning more of the three-point shooting, but they don't. That Lakeland Magic absolutely killed them at the three-point line in the two-game stand here. And it really showed. And they deserve to win these games, honestly, the Lakeland Magic. They just played their asses hard off, and it just sucks, because I wanted so much more from the 905, and now it's nearly impossible for them to make the playoffs. We'll just have to see how it goes. If they get in there somehow, some way, I'll be like, yes, but I don't think they will. It's probably not likely. Cool Cat saying 905 missing their big man, Coloco. Yes. And see, yesterday was too late. Y'all needed the good players on that team on Thursday when the first game against the Lakeland Magic was then. Because that's the thing. They had all this good stuff happening for them that continued into this game yesterday from the first game, because we didn't really stop them in the ways that we should have. That LaChance guy, we did not find him. He could do whatever the fuck he wanted. And that's what I'm saying. They should have had a better effort in the first one, but they were missing so many important players. No Ron Harper Jr., no Delano Banton, no David Johnson, no Christian Coloco. That sucks. These are very important players that have helped them a lot. If Christian had been there on Thursday, I think they might have won that game and they wouldn't have been in this problem. That's what I'm saying. They mismanaged this fucking team. Christian should have been there on Thursday helping them win, but no, they didn't do that. It sucks. It really sucks. Isaac Campbell saying Sterling Brown is a balanced player. He's really good. He's really, really good player. He deserves a spot in the NBA. His stint with the Lakers earlier this season was really good for him. And, he's just a tough guy. I could tell he was hurt, and he may not have should have been playing yesterday, but he still had an amazing game, was the best player for us, even with a messed up ankle right now. Yeah, Sterling's awesome, isn't he? You like the way he attacks the rim and hits threes? He really is I've called him recently the Gary Trent of 905 is kind of what he does. Evelyn's here. Good morning. So disappointed for a 905, but super happy with the Raptors' impressive W. Let's go Raptors. Yeah, it is what it is. They're not valuing trying to get the 905 to win as best as possible. It's obvious. I don't know if it's Eric Curry's just underwhelming as a coach. He can't inspire these guys to play better, mistake-free basketball because there's so many mistakes and dumb ones, like really, really dumb ones that are like, holy shit, what did you just do? Why did you miss that assignment? Or why did you just turn the ball over like this? Or why did you, there were so many dumb mistakes yesterday. They don't play tight enough. They don't play perfect enough. Well, you're going to lose. And that's what happened in 905. And they could have won it. They had it. They could have managed the last 5 minutes. They had a good lead going into the end. It wasn't like Lakeland was ahead and they were playing from behind. They were ahead. And Lakeland came from behind and snatched it by 1 point in the last second of the game. Callie's saying this has been a roller coaster season. I had pretty much decided their season was done after that road trip. Talking about the Raptors, it's true. It really is like Callie. We've got to just react to where we are at that present moment. Now, part of it is our expectations for what we're going to do this season have had to be recalibrated down a little lower. And some people, they don't like doing that. Like, well, if we're not competing for the championship, I'm just not going to pay attention this year. That's a typical Toronto sports fan. They'll look at the standings, and if a team is losing, well, I'm not going to the Dome to watch the Jays because they're a 45% win percentage. It's that kind of shit. So there's a lot of people that just turn it off because they see the Raptors have an off year and then they don't pay attention. And what happens is they actually kind of get their shit together and they start playing better at some point. But a lot of people aren't paying attention because they're already turned off from it for the year. Cool Cat has said that she got really good tickets for the rest of the season because some of the season ticket holders gave up on the Raptors this season. And I mean, that's just how it is. It's always a roller coaster. I just love the fight and having, you change your goals as what is realistic for what you can possibly do with what's happened. And we have new goals, and the goals are actually kind of fun. And I want to see us succeed and win in the play-in. I want to see us get a first round against one of those top seeds. Maybe it'll be the team we're playing today. We'll see. But yeah, there's always just, you got to change your goals and just kind of go with it. But yeah, this season's definitely been a roller coaster. And you know what, Callie, think about this. If we do end up this season with a winning record, would you say that this season's a success considering all the adversity, all the mud pits we got stuck in for a little while? We were all messed up in December, messed up with a 6-game losing streak here, 6-game losing streak there, but we still end up getting above 500 by the end of the year. I say that's a huge accomplishment considering the adversity and losing we've gone through this year. If we can still manage to have a winning season. So that's a really good goal for us to shoot for at this point, because it is within reach that we could end up above 500. The magic number is now 7. We've got to get 7 more wins, and then we'll be there. It's awesome. I love it so much. 7 more wins. Is that right? Yeah, we're at 35 now. 7 will put us at 42. That's right. Yeah, so we need 7 more wins out of these last 12. And you know what? That's very doable. You think about it, 7 wins out of the last 12, that's doable, especially when you got 2 games against Charlotte Hornets still. So we'll have to see. Let's see. Monique is saying, also loved how Maddie D celebrating Jack last night. So congratulations again, Jack. Enjoy the St. Patrick's Day parade. That's right. Jack is going to be walking around the streets of Toronto in about 2 hours. At noon, the St. Patrick's Day parade starts this downtown Toronto. So if you don't have anything to do, you want to go down to the parade, you can go see Grand Marshal Jack Armstrong marching down the street with his green apparel and being the Grand Marshal for the St. Patrick's Day parade. Yeah. Yeah, I like, listen, these guys are awesome. They talk about so many different things. They're talking about Matt's sons last night. I could tell Matt Devlin, man, listen, he's a really good dad. He has different sons. Some of them are in the NHL, and one of them's at like an equipment or athletic director for Iowa, one of the universities there. And they just lost in the NCAA tournament. And, Matt was talking about that team losing and his buddy Jack, his son Jack, and him being a little sad about it. And you can tell there's such an immense fatherly love for his sons from Matt Devlin. And to me, it just humanizes the dude and makes me love and respect Matt Devlin more. To see his unfiltered love for his different sons and what they're doing out there. So good. Nameless is saying, poorly managed 905 assets cost us the season, all season long. That stuff was going on. It's just really no rhyme or reason. I don't understand what they're trying to do. What is the purpose of the 905 at this point, Raptors? Are you trying to get Delano better? Are you trying to get Coloco better? I can understand all that. Are you trying to win games at that level? What is the goals of the 905? Are you just trying to develop a young coach, Eric Curry? Are you just guys just letting youngsters try stuff and fail and just be shitty? You don't care about excellence down there? That's fine. Whatever. You just need to let me know. What are you fucking doing with 905? Because this season didn't make any fucking sense this season of 905. Whether it was the early part, the first part of the season, you guys were not trying to win then to get into this Vegas tournament for money. And then in this second part, the regular season, yeah, there's a lot of missed opportunities to be below 500 at this point. There's no reason for this to happen. And the thing that doesn't make any sense to me is like, look, you've managed 905 so well. You think about the year that Fred and Jakob and Pascal were there. That was managed really well. Boucher was there really, really well. Even last year, you managed the 905 much better than this year. This year has been totally a fail. And I don't know if it's just, like I said, there's so many different players coming in and out. Reggie Perry here, this way, Kevon Harris, this, so much turnover. This changes, this guy goes this way. It's really hard to have a stable core and really build like what you're trying to do with your team. And in some ways that's part of it there. I don't know who's running this shit. Who is running this? Isaac saying 905 did not protect the paint with urgency in the last few games. And then I think it spilled over to the 3-point line. Got to commit. Yeah, that's for sure. Like they look like the Raptors when we would have open door policy and anybody could come into lane and just lay it up or dunk at bad times during the season. Yeah, there was nobody down there stopping anybody. Kyler Kelly would get a block here or there, and that would be fine. Tillman's a big body, and he does take up a lot of space, but he can't score, and he's a little slow, and he does get beat quite often. So it's like they did really need Coloco. They really, really did need Coloco. Tristan's here. Good. Let's go. Tristan Phipps. Good to see you. Daddy's here. There's no way a Rudy Gobert-led team was going to beat the Raptors last night. Sorry. Yeah, he's such a goof. Like, Rudy Gobert is such a goofy dude. He really is a goofy guy. Like, seriously, I don't think he's a serious dude. I don't think that he'll ever be as good as he could be in this league just because he's not a serious dude. He just doesn't take things seriously. There's different levels of being a pro and really caring about it. And he's not one of those dudes. And I think that's part of the reason why they wanted to ship his ass out of Utah is because they knew that. And it's so funny that he's still with Mike Conley. That's such a weird combo, the Conley-Gobert combo, because it's been together for a bit now. So they are really familiar together. Nameless is saying, I remember saying that to myself 3 months ago, literally, like, what the fuck was Ron Harper Jr. and others doing vegetating on the bench for 18 games anyway? Weirdos, man. Because you're talking about on the main roster. Well, in some ways, I don't really want Ron to take a lot of time on the main roster. Jeff Doughton now, he's gotten used properly from the 905 to the main roster. But, maybe on that other team you're talking about, he didn't get to play down there. He did play quite a lot, but he came off the bench yesterday. But that's partly because he's been hurt. I don't know. I have so many questions about the 905 and their season this year. Tristan saying, laugh out loud, I saw the scoreboard and I was like, ain't that a 3? That's the crazy thing. I mean, that whole thing with Gary Trent Jr., don't tell us that you saw it and you said this, but then you're not even going to change it. And you're like, well, we don't care. We know that was a 3, but we don't care. We don't care for Gary giving him an extra point. We don't care for the Raptors team and the fans for making them have an extra point. They don't care. It really is that flippant kind of like, we don't give a shit about you. Fuck it. It's like, I hate that. That is something the Raptors have had to overcome for their franchise. It's like, we are the Canadian team. We get demeaned. We got to get treated like a second-class citizen. Like, we don't care. We don't need to be treated fairly. That's the shit that pisses me off about the whole thing. I almost wish the broadcasters hadn't let us know that had happened, because in some ways they didn't have to, because it wasn't a factor in anything. They could have just said, okay, yeah, we don't need to, like, maybe they were doing it while they were deliberating it. And he's like, oh, they aren't going to count it after all. It just made me mad. It was like, why did you do that? Seymour said, the fix. Monique is saying here that, all right, make sure to get all the comments. Happy early birthday to Leo Routens, 63 this week. We're all celebrating in the live stream last night. Good to see you all. Dan Tolzman was speaking there too. Okay, so Raptors Tonight was live last night with everybody. Was live. Like live because it's on, but also live. Yeah, Leo's birthday coming up this week. He's older than Jack. It's crazy. Well, Monique, if you like Raptors Tonight, wait till you see Raptors Afternoon. Yeah. If you don't know what that is, you weren't here yesterday. Raptors Afternoon, baby. It'll be on Wednesday. Raptors Afternoon. Isaac Campbell saying video replay is broken in the NBA. You know, it's like if you're going to go to the trouble, you're going to employ these guys like Ed Malloy. He's in the video replay tonight. He'll be sitting in there watching it like, okay, yeah, we're here watching. Okay, doesn't mean you're going to do anything helpful or anything like that. What's the whole point? You employ extra referees, have them sit in a little room in Secaucus with a bunch of TVs, and they ain't going to fucking like help anything or change anything. Like, what's the whole fucking point to have them then? If they're not going to be like, okay, they looked at this. Okay, you got to change that call because we can see it from Secaucus. Well, okay. I mean, that's the thing. There's no rhyme or reason to this. There's instant replay. They could show everything like Koloko getting busted in the nose, but none of that fucking matters. It's only what matters to them. Oh my gosh. You're exactly right. Video replay is broken, Isaac, in some ways. It really is. Nameless is saying Precious definitely in the nursery, but he'll snap out of it. Oh my gosh, you're not using an Eric Flynn term, are you? Don't do that, Nameless. I'm already seeing trade Precious talk. This is why it's hard to take 98% of people seriously. Yeah, okay. Anybody's talking about trading Precious, they're idiots. First of all, these are the kind of fans that just want a Raptor to do poorly so they can dig into them. They can take their teeth out and go and get right into them and like mess them up further. Fuck that shit. Anybody who's coming after Precious just because he's in Nick Nurse's doghouse slightly right now, just shut the fuck up, please. You know, you may have just picked this as your new ice cream brand. You know, maybe it was Fred for a big chunk of the season. Then it was Pascal. And now it's fucking Precious. Y'all, just stop eating ice cream like this. Maybe you need to be like off that on your diet. Just stop hating or wanting a target to come after in this team. In fact, it could very well be, once again, fans of another team see trends on our team and they're like, oh, they're not playing Precious now. He's pretty talented. Maybe we can pry him out of there. Let's start shit with the Raptors fans and see if they'll turn on him because he's not playing all of a sudden. We could say shit like he sucks. That's why he's not playing. Yeah, let's get rid of him. Yeah, we'll go in there and we'll type it, even though we're Sixers fans or fucking Celtics fans, and act like they're Raptors fan. And then the dumb Raptors fans will go like, yeah, they're right about Precious. And they'll fucking join that whole fucking bullshit. That's how I really think it happens, y'all. Seriously. What good respecting Raptor fan is actually calling to get rid of Precious Achiuwa right now? You fucking dumbasses if you are. That dude is so talented. And once again, patience. Development is not linear. It goes up and down, okay? So please have some patience. Precious is having a little dip in his development right now. And when he comes right back up and shoots right up to a next plateau, I want to be there for it and have him in a Raptor red jersey. So yeah, we ain't trading Precious. Fuck that shit. Whoever's talking that way. He is a premium talent and he is a very good defender. We want his defense, if anything. Who cares if he's making any points? It very much is like OG. He can just play and make good defensive decisions, and I'm okay with it. If he scores, that's fantastic too. But otherwise, it's the defense. And just him being a pure NBA stud on his way up in this league, you want to have people like him on your team. Yeah, anybody who's talking that way, you're stupid. Let's just put it that way. Space Cadet saying, saw he who shall not be named on Twitter complaining that the Raptors didn't win the right way. What the fuck does that even mean? Well, listen, bro, you're not even making content the right way, obviously, because you're fucking stupid, cynical, pessimistic, piece of shit, hating Fred motherfucker, you piece of shit, asshole motherfucker. Yeah, you don't know what you're fucking talking about, man. Seriously, the Raptors are winning again. I think you're more upset now that they're winning. You are happier when they're losing. So you can fucking have some bullshit you can say. It's when they're winning again, you're like struggling to make content. You just sound stupid. Because it's like they're fucking winning, bro. And you're still saying shit. He said that they didn't win the right way. What's the fucking right way? The right way is just getting that W. I don't care how you get it. There's no right way to win. It's just if you get that W is the right way because you won. I don't give a shit how they do it. That's what I'm saying. This is like A-team shit. You go dun, 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 dun. You get in there and you fucking make a truck out of a fucking lawn chair and some tubing pipe and shit like that. And then boom, you bust out that garage and you fucking shoot all the bad guys without really actually shooting them. They just roll on the ground. But that is what I'm saying. That's A-team shit. I don't care how they fucking do it. They just got to do it. They can fucking use PVC pipe and duct tape in a fucking lawn chair and make a truck and fucking get their ass out of there, out of the being hostage by the fucking bad guys that episode. Anybody who watched the A-team knows what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, it doesn't matter how they do it. They can fucking MacGyver that shit. And that I don't give a shit. They just get that W. That's all that matters, seriously, because the other way happens too. Those motherfuckers get wins on us in the most crazy, fucked up ways right at the last second. Those are L's. Well, we don't want that. That's no good. So don't give a shit. Just as long as you get to that W. That's what I say to Steve every day in the text on game day. Just win, baby. Just win, baby. Because that's all we care about. We just want the Raptors to win. Get that W. You just say they don't win the right way. What's the right way? Oh, are you the king and commander of the world? You fucking determine what the fucking right way is to win? Pencil, you piece of shit fucking dumbass motherfucker. Yeah. You know what? I'm giving myself a dunk today. I'm getting a dunk. I'm marking myself for a dunk right there. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Woo, I went off on that one. Ooh, Space Cadet. You bringing me something to get mad about. All right, let's see. Leslie is here. Good to see Leslie Hart, a fantastic Raptor freak from the original year, one of the originals from the beginning. Good morning, Raptor freaks. It's cold in Toronto, but the Raps are hot. Ooh, I love it, Leslie. Don't you too? Let's keep this hot streak going, baby. And let's take down the Eastern Conference leading Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Yeah, Giannis who? Giannis who? We're going to find out. OG Plumbing coming to put that big wrench on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Say, we'll build that wall up against Giannis that we do all the time. Yeah, Giannis, you know that wall's coming. You ain't getting through to us. And now we got Yaka, baby. Yeah, it's only gotten harder. You don't just have to deal with OG, Pascal, Precious, and those guys. Now we got Yaka, baby. Yeah, Giannis, come right into the lane and see what happens now with Blocker Poeltl being in the lane. Yeah, I love it. All right, let's see. Kareem's here. Whisper. All right, here. Shh. I don't want to jinx it, but the Raptors are peaking at the most perfect time of the season going into the playoffs. Yes, Kareem, I saw that too, and I like it. I think we got a good chance to finish strong and make some noise in the postseason. Tristan Phipps, I want to see Precious lock down Giannis. Just kidding. But aside from that, I think we have the personnel to get a win. We just got to put it all together. Yes. I've been Paul B in the chat today. He's in Wisconsin on the scene. And in some ways, he can test the temperature in the Wisconsin and how it feels around that state right now. Mr. Paul B, a great upstanding Raptor freak in enemy territory. I wonder what he would tell us about how the people in Milwaukee and in the state of Wisconsin are feeling about this game tonight. I know they felt very comfortable and confident this whole season, reeling off crazy ass 14, 15 win streaks and crazy shit going on with the Bucks. They look so good. Well, maybe they feel real good, but maybe they don't understand this flight that just came down from Toronto last night to come to their city to fuck them up tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Yeah, do you know what's happening tonight, Bucks? Maybe you're a little too happy. Maybe things have been too good. Well, you did lose the Pacers recently, so maybe there's a little bit of a wake-up call, but maybe, that's the thing. When, the Pacers beat the Bucks the other night, they were missing a very important players, guys. They didn't play with Halliburton. They didn't play with a couple of their very big guns. And they managed to outgun the Milwaukee Bucks. But once again, as I've said a couple times on the stream, they had to score 130 points to do it. Do we have the firepower to outscore the Milwaukee Bucks tonight? Well, we'll have to see. That's going to be the test. Because in some ways, I love for this to turn into an Eastern Conference battle, ugly-ass defensive game where nobody's making any shots, and it's like a 15-point quarter. But I don't think that's likely. I think that both teams are primed right now, and they're playing pretty well. that it's more likely to be a scoring race today instead of a defensive battle like the first time we played the Milwaukee Bucks, where the score was like 101 to like 90 something, where we lost. Well, it may more likely be that the score is going to be around 130 to 125, like the second game. So we're going to need to be that team that scores the most. And that's the thing. We're going to need all hands on deck and all firepower running and going good to beat and mess up the Bucks tonight. We're going to need that. Yeah, we are. I do want to see Precious guard Giannis tonight. I think that this is a smart decision by Nick Nurse, and that if he's going to bring him off the bench, he should be the guy switching for OG to be the guy who's going to come out there and be the all-purpose defender on somebody like Giannis. Yeah, I would like to see this for sure. Of course, Brook Lopez. He's annoying. He's big. Well, Jakob can be a little bit more better with the physicality and throwing his weight around against him. I don't want to see Brook Lopez be a bully. He really is a goon this year. He's doing shit on purpose to bait people into fighting, like putting his hand in some people's headbands. He's protecting Giannis and fighting Trey Lyles recently. This is something about him that is a role very defined by Coach Bud, that they want him to be this big brute, bruiser, annoying, like taking fouls, a little bit of fear. He wants people to fear him. This is part of the reason why he acts so crazy. That's why he was saying stuff like his headband was talking to me. That's why I put my hands in it. It's that he wants to seem like he's fucking crazy. And because he's so big, it does give us a scare, like intimidation factor. We can't be intimidated by that big, dumb goof. That's one thing we got to remember tonight, that Brook Lopez is going to try and do that kind of thing. And our guys can't buy it. They can be like, yeah, whatever. You're an idiot. I want them to be like that. Like, Jakob, you're just as strong as Brook Lopez. You can fucking face up against him. Keep him in line. And we didn't have you against the Milwaukee Bucks the first two times we played them this year. So now we do. I want to see that difference. We saw a huge difference having Jakob against the Timberwolves last night and Gobert. Well, I want to see that again tonight against Brook Lopez. Listen to Gate, the stupid-ass, fake-ass Defensive Player of the Year candidate, with his goofy, goonish Son of Sam routine where he's acting like he's a fucking out-of-his-mind idiot who hears voices from headbands. Yeah, Brook Lopez. That's for you, what I just said. Yeah. Nameless is saying Scottie is so impactful, and I love him so much. Oh, my God. He's so good, and he's getting better and better because he finds different ways to impact winning every single night. Franchise cornerstone player. This is true. This is the thing about him this whole time. Anybody who wanted to peg Scottie as this like end-all be-all scorer type that's going to do all this stuff and he's just going to be like a Giannis kind of that way, no. He's more like a Magic Johnson. He really is like a facilitator, and he's a guy that's going to do anything on the court. He can do so many different things. He's going to do whatever fits for that night to help them win. And that's the unselfishness, and that is the aptitude of a true like utility badass superstar that makes everybody better just because he makes the sacrifices. He does the grunt work. He does the hard work that most superstars don't like doing. And in some ways, that is a way better kind of superstar to have because he's like made to order. How do we come in the game? What do we need during the game? Well, Scottie, can you help us in this area a little bit more? And then maybe we'll have more success. Sure, coach. Boom. And he can because he can do anything he wants on an NBA court. So it's kind of like he has a menu every day. He's like, what am I going to do today? Hit threes? Okay. Offensive rebounds? All right. It's like he can tailor order his menu from his menu, what he wants to do in that game. And I'm all about that. I love Scottie so much too. You go, Scott Wayne Barnes, and you kick some more ass. Be great be great. Tom Dukes has got the food for the referees. It looks like they look like lobsters. I guess those are 3 lobsters. And then he's got like the pot of something. I'm guessing that's the shrimp oranganata. That's the shrimp oranganata for Zach Zarba, right? Okay, and there's the surf and turf for Trey Maddox. That's the one we really care about. We want to make sure Trey gets a good lobster. And then there's some pizza. Pizza for Natalie Sago. There you go, Tom Duke. Good to see Tom Duke in the kitchen once again. Isaac was there yesterday. Oh, he forgot to add the fish yesterday. Isaac's forgot to add the fish yesterday. We don't give a shit. Who was that fish for anyway? Was it for Ed Malloy? No, wait. It was for the third ref, Scott Wall, wasn't it? Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, it is what it is, Isaac. But thanks for filling in for Tom on the food yesterday. Yeah. All right. Tom just went and got the fish still. All right. Tristan's saying, I mean, on paper, the matchups don't look too bad. I presume it's just energy levels back to back and bench depth and execution. This is the thing. This is and this is something that Nick Nurse brought up in the press conference recently. On the West Coast trip against the LA teams in Denver, all three of those games, that team was waiting for us and had two games off the day before days before the games. When we played Denver in Denver, and Scott Foster did the hit job on us, Denver had not played for 2 days, that Saturday and Sunday. So they had 2 days rest. The Lakers, 2 days rest. The Clippers, 2 days rest. Well, the Milwaukee Bucks today, 2 days rest, guys. They have not played since Thursday. Yeah, and that was that game they lost to the Pacers. So that's the thing. This is Brian Winders. We're flying in after a game yesterday and playing against them, and they've had 2 days rest. So we'll have to see how this goes and see how that works. I think it will be all right. I want to see us. I really do like the matchups too, Tristan. In some ways, I used to love to break it all down. Let's think about Drew Holiday versus Fred VanVleet, Giannis versus OG, Brook Lopez versus Jakob. It's that kind of shit. Chris Middleton versus Scottie Barnes. It's going to be that kind of stuff. We're going to see Scottie probably guard Chris Middleton a bit. We'll have to see how all the matchups go for tonight. We'll have to see. But yeah, this back-to-back is tough for us. But who knows? Let's have some gumption and win at all costs against all odds. That's how I like to do it. Mike is here. Logical Raptors Fanatic dropping some stuff yesterday. Check out Logical Raptors Fanatic. Always putting out great content on Saturday afternoon. Salute the real ones, Project Truth always. Let's get to win them both. Let's get the W tonight and continue stacking the wins. The team with Poeltl is definitely a playoff team, in my opinion. Great balance on offense. He is just so, man, I just go on and on about Jakob Poeltl and how much I love that guy and how he's so badass. And, oh, man, Jakob, you are the guy. You're the man. And I can tell that, you and Fred, oh, my gosh, you and Fred. That's all I have to say. Jakob and Fred. Yes, we know what I'm talking about. All right, let's see. Nameless is saying, if we ever got a little love from the league and officiating, we'd be running away with this league year after year after year. They know it, and we know it. No hyperbole necessary. Nameless, I wondered about this. What if we got that treatment like the Boston Celtics get? A little bit of favor. The Knicks get it too, to a degree. They really do kind of try and prop these teams up a little bit and help them, push them in the direction of winning, whether it's helping them with the schedule or the referees doing some shady ass shit to help them at times. Yeah, I've often wondered about this too, but we don't need all that. They can have the red carpet rolled out for them and invited in, and hopefully they hope that their teams perform well enough that they can have them win and do this stuff. Oh, please play good, Celtics. We're helping you. Please, us, we have to play good and overcome all of it. And we will. And, who knows? One day, maybe if we have a dynasty, we have a lot of championships, maybe we will get that clout and that kind of treatment by the officials. Maybe one day the Raptors will be so cool in the entire NBA that they'll get that kind of status like the Lakers and the Celtics. Who knows? Some people say, you're crazy, Lex. They'll never be on that level with them. Well, a lot can happen over the years with championships and earning respect. You never know. You never know. Nameless is saying, with the addition of Poeltl, you could argue the Raptors are one of the most complete teams in the league, top 3 or 5. I'm not ready to say that. I just feel like our kitchen cupboard is so bare on our bench still. If these guys were utilized more and Nick got more out of the 7 through 10 spots on our roster, I would say this, but we're not complete until we have a bench we can really depend on and get good stuff out of it. It's still too much of a drop off when we put too many of the bench guys in. So I can't say this exactly. I wish I could. I would say our starting lineup, sure. And to a certain point, maybe 6 deep. But we want, before we were 5 deep. Well, now we're 6 because Jakob's here. Well, we want to get back to being 8 or 9 deep. And that's really premium top level role players in our rotation with the starters. And we don't have that, unfortunately. So I don't know if I can say that exactly, Nameless. I wish I could say that we're one of the most complete teams in the league. But until we get a bench, that just can't be true. Logical saying, not gonna lie, one of the Wolves announcers was really high IQ and had the right take on the Raps. And he was saying that they have to keep this team together. He sees their togetherness and potential with Poeltl back. There you go. There you go. I wonder who it was. Was it? It's not Antonio Daniels that calls the game for them, is it? He was calling for one of these teams. It may be them. I'm not sure who it is. I didn't watch the Wolves broadcast, of course. Well, that's awesome. And that's good. I like hearing that people recognize it from the outside, even if certain Raptors Nation people can't see it themselves from the inside. You know, good IQ basketball people understand what the Raptors got going here with their core. And any Raptors person in the nation that thinks that we need to blow this team up, or that we're idiots for keeping this going. Yeah, you keep saying that while astute people that get paid to cover the team on the radio and TV say things like this from other teams. Yeah, we'll see who's right. And I know we're on the right path. And they're exactly right. Keep this team together. Poeltl puts us in a new place, and we need to discover more about how far we can go. Jam Joe's is here. Good to see Jam Joe's. Man, I can't wait for this buck smoke. Yeah, we're going to go buck hunting tonight. Smoking on a Giannis pack. That straight Headies, indica, raw papers, and a bag of that dank Giannis pack is all I need. Woo, he wants to smoke Giannis like weed. Damn. I know one of their colors is green, but that is something else. It's like, ooh, this Giannis makes me want to pick Ja Morant when I can't. Ooh, makes me want to have my brothers on my team with me. Ooh. Callie saying, I'm so excited for the game tonight. It would be amazing if we beat them. Callie, I hope we do. I really do hope we do. We have as good a shot as anybody does. Seriously, in this league, everybody's lined up and played the Bucks in the last couple of months. They've had their shot. Well, we have just as good a shot as anyone, and maybe it's not a totally good shot, but I'll bet you we have a better shot than most in some ways. I feel good about today. I do. I feel like these guys are feeling good about what they're doing. This is the thing. They're smart, and they know how to replicate this with high IQs. Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Jakob Poeltl. These guys are smart players, and they really, really know how to replicate success and really kind of like look for new success in some of the things they're doing right now. I think the expansion of Trent and Siakam looking to pass more recently is a really, really good sign that we have more cohesion and ball sharing, and that these two aren't just total black holes like they've been for the whole season. As far as you get that ball to Siakam or Trent, they're going to shoot it, but not anymore. These guys are actually looking to pass and share the ball with better shots in different situations. So I'm really happy about that. Callie, I feel real good. Why not? Why not us? That's what I say. Why not us? Let's beat the Bucks tonight. Let's put something on our name. Beat the Denver Nuggets and the Bucks in the same week. The top teams in both conferences. Yeah, I'm all about that. Top of tops here. Great win, but Fred and Pascal, to a lesser extent, have hurt the development of the young guys. The sky is falling, Chicken Little. When Fred was going off early, OG and Scottie were being ignored. Oh, poor Scottie and OG were ignored. This is such bullshit. The top of top saying today. Fred going off isn't taking us far. Oh, no, Fred isn't taking us far. That's bullshit. That is all bullshit. That is all bullshit, top of top. Why? Sometimes you really echo some bullshit from that idiot, he who shall not be named. Seriously. All right, first of all, no. All right. No, dog. All right, let me break this down real quick for you, bro. Great win, but are you fucking coming here with the Pensera storyline because he said it wasn't done the right way? Is this what you're saying here? I don't get this, bro. All right, listen, they are not hurting the development of these young guys. Scottie's not supposed to score 20 every night. Scottie getting 10 is perfectly fine. And you go ask Scottie about last night. He's probably fine with it too. All he cares about is getting the W. You see, this is the thing. He doesn't have the same mindset as y'all do. He's not selfish and thinking, I need to get all the shots. He doesn't give a shit how much he shoots. He could score 6 points and shoot horribly. And if we still win, he's happy for the night. Trust me. OG and Scottie don't give a shit. They want to see Fred and Pascal succeed, and they're above them in the hierarchy of things, and they understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that. OG's way more efficient without taking like 20 shots. He was 6 for 9 last night. I'd much rather have OG take less shots and make most of them than have him shoot like 16 shots and only make 6 shots of 16. because he does that too. You make OG a high volume shooter, sometimes that's not the best way to do it. So the best thing to do with OG is let him get his spots naturally, the way that they're supposed to, like dunking it or having an open three. And if you're trying to force his offense too much, well, you'll get very bad efficiency. Now, the thing that matters in all this top of top is this. How did they shoot? Did Fred shoot near 50%? Did Pascal shoot near 50%? Yes. And yes, Fred shot 10 for 18. So there's nothing wrong with what Fred did. He was very efficient. His scoring came naturally, and he made most of his shots. Pascal, exactly 50%, 11 of 22. If you're so worried about, oh, they need to get better sooner so they get more shots, you're fucking stupid, top. I'm sorry. I'm going to call you out for an idiot today. Because seriously, this is dumb comment right now. They get the offense that they get. And on some nights, Scottie will get going to more often. But once again, people do not understand that a lot of the offensive decisions and who gets to shoot when and where are made and dictated by the defense of the other team. And that if Fred has the ball and he knows how to pick it apart better, or Pascal does better than Scottie and OG right now, then they should be the ones picking it apart, because they did do a very good job of doing that last night. I don't understand how anybody could critique Fred and Pascal about last night. They were extremely efficient. They encouraged other teammates to get involved, and they got everybody going. So, yeah, this is bullshit, man. This is bullshit. I'm not going to give you a strike. I'm just going to tell you you're an idiot is what I'm going to say today. Even though I'm being a little bit mean by saying that, this is the dumbest comment I've seen today. Listen, OG steps up and gets 30-plus games sometimes. Don't expect him to do that every fucking night. Scottie has huge games all the time, but don't expect him to do that every fucking night. This is the thing. Our main guys are Pascal and Fred. Get over it. They will come up and they will take more of the pie, but not on your schedule. They will do it as it seems decent so that they win as much as possible, and it will happen over time, gradually. And y'all don't say how quick or how fast, and none of this chicken little bullshit. Like, what is this? When Fred was going off early, OG and Scottie were being ignored? No, they weren't. They were doing their defensive stuff. They were doing all the other shit that they do on the court. Some fans just get so caught up on scoring and baskets. That's not the whole thing about the game. It's rebounding, it's defense, it's so many other things. And in some ways, OG and Scottie are taking care of dirty work. They're taking care of grunt work, the things that need to be done for sure, the things that 905 did not do yesterday. And that is what I want them to do first. The scoring, they got to earn that later. I'm sorry. Scottie can get those easy in the lane shots whenever he wants. He wasn't being aggressive last night. It's not Fred and Pascal's fault. They were not aggressive enough. And honestly, Scott got how many shots last night? He got 10 shots. He just only made 3 of them. So it's not like he was totally froze out. That's, man, all right, I'm going to move on because I might just pile on you for another 5-10 minutes for just such a dumb comment. Alex is saying, tell Boucher to stop jumping on pump fakes. Like, how many times do we get burned by him flying by and giving up open shots? I don't count this very often. I didn't notice this too much. In fact, I'm going to give Boucher some shine instead, Alex. I appreciate you being here. Boucher played incredible defense on Rudy Gobert. And this is the thing. Boucher does not play center anymore. He's not supposed to be playing center. But for some reason, Nick decided, I'm going to put him on Gobert last night. And I was like, no. In some ways, I was like looking at the personnel out there. I was like, wait, Poeltl and Koloko are not out there. And neither is Precious. And they've got Boucher on Gobert. Ooh, but no, you know what? He played him so good. That's the thing. Boucher played incredible defense on Rudy Gobert. And this is something, if you look 2 years ago at Tampa when he was playing center regularly, he couldn't do this kind of shit against the big guys. So in some ways, Chris Boucher's smarter as a defender than he was 2 years ago because he effectively stymied. In fact, he was one of the best defensive looks on Rudy Gobert last night, because basically what Boucher was doing, every time Gobert had the ball, he's so fucking slow. Chris had used his quick hands and knocked the ball out of his hands. So I'm going to completely disagree with you, Alex, as far as like Boucher being bad defensively last night. Nope. No. In fact, he showed some defensive chops against Gobert that we haven't seen him have to do in years. And I was pleasantly surprised. And Nick said it in the press conference last night that Boucher was incredible defensively last night. So Alex is saying you get to do this. Meanwhile, Nick Nurse is saying that he played really good on Gobert last night. Something's not lining up here. Tristan's saying 6 guys in double digits. Raptors attack in packs. That's right. Ooh, actually, this is making me wonder. And remember, I've got to do the real mascot matchup. Let me make sure I get this done. Let's go ahead and do this right now since we got a game tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. All right, the last time we saw the Raptors mascot, he's at the beach with Will the Wizard and the yak was pooping in the water, and the lifeguard, Ben Taylor, got all upset because the yak was pooping in the water at the public beach, so he called the police, and the police came, and his officer brothers and Officer Foster were there, and Officer Brothers is the nice cop, and Officer Foster's an asshole. He's just talking all this shit. He wants to take them to jail and put them in jail for letting the yak defecate in the public beach. So they're talking and they're like, oh, I don't really think we should take them to jail, is what Officer Brothers is saying. But Officer Foster's like, no, I hate them. Let's take them to jail right now, Tony. Damn it. I hate them. And then the third cop shows up, Officer Malloy, because they heard they needed backup because there's a big, huge yak and it could be very dangerous, I guess. Well, they're talking all about it and stuff, and they want Ed Malloy to be the third vote on whether they should take them to jail or not. And Tony's like, let's just give them a warning. Just let them go. And Ed Malloy's kind of thinking it over. I don't know. I kind of want to screw them over like Scott does. He's really thinking about it. But ultimately, he decides to go with Tony. He does say, you know what? This is just too much trouble. Do we really want this yak down at the police station shitting all over the place? So let's just let them go, Scott. And Scott's like, damn it, nah. And like, anyways, so Officer Malloy and Officer Brothers start helping the Raptor and the yak and Will the Wizard back to the road and away from this whole scene. And meanwhile, they don't even realize this, but there's a pack of wolves in the woods watching this all go down. And they're very, very hungry. Very, very hungry. In fact, they've seen the Raptor before and attacked him, and they kind of gnawed on him earlier this season, but he didn't taste good. They're not really interested in the Raptor because they didn't like his meat as being a reptile and cold-blooded. They want some warm meat. So they're leaving, and the Yak and Tony Brothers and Ed Malloy and Will the Wizard and the Raptor are leaving. Meanwhile, Officer Foster hangs around with lifeguard Ben Taylor, and they're talking about how much they hate what just happened, and like, I wish they'd let me nail them and take them to jail. And like Ben Taylor's, yeah, they're such jerks, pooping all in my water here at the beach. I'm so mad at them. They should have let you take them to jail. And while they're talking, they don't realize they're being surrounded by a pack of wolves. Well, them wolves jump right on them, and they just start digging into Officer Foster and lifeguard Ben Taylor, and they're ripping right they're ripping them all up into shreds. And like, I don't know if they actually kill them, but let's just say they fucked them up pretty bad where they have to go to the hospital. So yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Yeah, isn't that cool? So anyway, let's get back to the other part of the story. They're the other guys, the good guys, are down the street. Meanwhile, with Officer Brothers and Officer Malloy, and they're kind of talking to them, and like Officer Malloy's like, have you ever ridden this yak? I kind of want to try and ride this yak. And they're like, whoa, okay, you really want to try and get up on the yak and ride it? Go ahead, Officer Malloy. So they give him a lift, and they lift him up onto the yak, and he's up there, and he's like riding it. He's like, I'm riding the yak. And Will the Wizard knows the yak real well because he's traveled with him for a little while. And he's like, don't do this, because you might make the yak agitated if you do this with your foot. And like Ed Malloy's like, what are you saying? Don't do that with your foot, because you may agitate the yak. And like Ed Malloy's like, okay, I'm having fun. And he's doing it. He doesn't even realize it. Well, the yak is just like bucking Bronco in some ways. It's like bucking him up. It's starting to buck Ed Malloy a little bit. And Ed Malloy's like, whoa. Well, what's going to happen? Will the yak buck Officer Malloy off and he'll go flying somewhere, or will Officer Malloy be safe? We'll find out next time on the Real Mascot Matchup. I know that one was a little long and a lot to it, but there's a lot going on right now. I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, I'm really trying to make this tie in to the reality of the NBA season with the Raptors. The Yak is becoming like the star of the show. Yes, I didn't see what happens at Malloy's. You go, oh. Oh my gosh. All right. Sorry. All right. Let's get back to business. All right. Enough story time. Okay. Let's see. G saying Space Cadet, he's in control. He's the control freak. Does not care about winning, only cares about winning his way. And if that's how basketball works in real life, okay, we're talking about you shall not be named, some of these other people. Yeah, I mean, seriously, y'all. Listen, basketball is such a weird game. I've said this before that each and every NBA game is like a snowflake. They're never, ever exactly the same. They have their own individual characteristics. And some of these games are weird. Sometimes you have a Malice in the Palace where Ron Artest is punching a fan in the face. Sometimes you have a speaker fire against the Indiana Pacers game where the fire chief is coming in and evacuating a section of the Scotiabank Arena because there's a speaker on fire above. That's what I'm saying. Every single game is different. And that's part of the chaos of the NBA. You never know what could happen in any kind of game at any given night. So anybody who's predicting this is how you should win and how you shouldn't win, fuck you. You're idiots. Because the NBA is a crazy, weird game that you go and you play 48 minutes of, and you don't know what's going to happen during that 48 minutes. There may be a fight. There may be a fucking shitty ass ref. There may be some crazy ass shit going in the stands with the fans and the player. You know, there's all kinds of different X factors. So anybody who says there's a template or a way to win, you're fucking crazy, because every single time you go to an NBA game, you are set forth with obstacles and objectives that you need to accomplish to make sure you get that W. And sometimes those weird objectives may change and they may be very strange all of a sudden. So I'm sorry. Anybody who thinks there's a template or how to win correctly, you're a fucking idiot. And you need to watch the NBA for a couple, like 3 more decades, like me, maybe. And then maybe you'll fucking understand that there is no surefire way or template for exactly winning every single time. So it's just getting the W. I'm sorry. You get it by the skin of your teeth. You get it because Scott Foster cheated and handed it to you. You get it however you get it. And that's just it. You're going to say that the way Denver beat us in Denver is the right way to win? Oh, that's the right way to win. That's the right way to win. No, it isn't, because the referee gave it to them. So, yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, Space Cadet, it is what it is. Lion Hunter saying, Top, during that West Coast trip, you complained that Fred and Pascal weren't our best players when they had to be. Now they are, and you're complaining about development of the other players. First of all, seriously, when we're winning, sure, we can nitpick. We can kind of pick apart little things about this. But listen, not when these guys are playing so well. Everybody's so fucking nitpicky about the Raptors players. I just get sick of it. They're winning. They just won 3 games in a row at home. Why are you nitpicking top of top? Seriously, why are you pensaring? Is what I'll say. Yeah, why are you pensaring, motherfucker? Yeah. G saying, Top, did you know Scottie as a sophomore attempts more shots than Giannis, Kawhi, Joker, and Tatum did as sophomores? This narrative is absolutely not true. Pascal attempts the 15th most shots, Fred 34th. Fred now assists the 4th most assists in the entire league since Jakob, only behind Halliburton, Harden, and Chris Paul. That was what you were quoting yesterday, right? I remember now. Gee, yeah. And you put Harden in instead of Embiid this time. This is the thing. Nobody understands development timelines if you're not the player or the coach or the organization involved. People on the outside, you're not supposed to fucking understand what they're doing with Scottie. You're not supposed to understand what they're doing with Precious right now. You just got to trust in Nick and let them do their job. Because really, honestly, you have no idea what could have been going on with Scott yesterday. Who knows? Maybe he has a little nagging injury that makes it so that they don't want to go too heavy on him right now. There could be all kinds of X factors and underlying factors to the reason why water gets diverted to different players in the offensive lineup for the Raptors and who gets shots and when and where and why. It could be that Rudy Gobert is on this side of the court and Pascal's over on the other side of the court. Get it to Pascal over there so we can go on the weak side. It could be as simple as that. It could be, they're really guarding Fred close. He can't get his shots off. So it's not going to be a Fred night. Sorry. It could be Scottie is just not finding good position and they're finding him down low. There's all kinds of different reasons for the outcomes, the permutations, and why things happen the way they do and the percentages they do on the court. And let's just go by this. There's an equal effort by all these guys and they're all getting shots. I think that's way better then like, the Bucks are probably going to overbeat us with Giannis and Chris Middleton. And then otherwise, there's like the other guys will step in and get theirs when they can, like Drew Holiday. But otherwise, we know pretty much that they're going to be coming at us with those two guys mainly. Well, with us, they don't fucking know. It could be Pascal and Fred, but could be OG and Scottie. It could be Gary and Jakob. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. This whole idea about like the percentages of who's getting shots and what, holding people back from their development, it's all bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. Seymour saying Dylan Brooks and Clay need a one-on-one match. Yeah. I like to see the Grizzlies beat the Warriors. The Warriors suck, man. What a disappointing year for Golden State. Like they've got their guys back and they're still fucking losing when it matters the most. And they're right around 500. Yeah, Warriors fans, how you feel about your team? You may have been champions last year, but seriously, you guys aren't going to go anywhere in the playoffs. I may say that and eat my words because of the way they fucking do shit. But seriously, there's something wrong with them right now. Draymond's an idiot. And yeah, all the talking shit with the Grizzlies, honestly, in some ways, they look better than y'all right now. The fact that y'all don't acknowledge that they're a rival of y'all's right now, in some ways, is arrogant and kind of full of shit. They are y'all's rival. They made y'all their rival. And they do have a very equal chance to beat your ass, obviously, because they beat your ass last night. So, Warriors, stop being so arrogant and acknowledge that you have a rivalry with the Grizzlies. And that is a very fucking real thing. You're going to be looking down the court at the Grizzlies bench, Klay Thompson, and going, that's a rivalry, motherfucker. I'm sorry. You're going to be acting like that. That's a rivalry, Warriors. So don't act like you're so hoity-toity that you're above a rivalry with the Memphis Grizzlies. Y'all got a fucking rivalry, whether you like it or not. That's just how it is, bro. Dylan Brooks, he has anointed you a rivalry. And you are. I'm sorry, that is. Let's see. He will never be happy. I know some of these people will never be happy. We all know what Top was watching last night. Yeah, Pensair. Yeah, Pensair. Shirkan saying, just wanted to share something radical as far as calls are concerned. Why not flag the play that has controversy and ask the replay center at Secaucus to take a look? We can retroactively fix the score. Well, that's what they did kind of last night, Shirkan, with that three-pointer by Gary, but they still got it wrong. They admitted that it was a three, but they didn't change it. They're like, we don't care, though. We admit that call's wrong, and it should have been a three, but we're not going to change it because we don't give a shit. That's really what the message was with all that last night. It's kind of bullshit. Tristan saying, Sterling Brown was on my Raps team in 2K23, so that's how I know he's good. Also, Scottie's shooting percentage and rebounds are down from last year, but his assists and points are up. I don't even believe that either, though. I mean, that may be true, but I don't think it is. I think his numbers are actually all up on the down low, and it just seems like they're lower. I think that, honestly, I've seen some benchmarks that Scott's been getting recently. They put these graphics up, and they say he's like one of the youngest players to get to this amount of steals, blocks, assists, rebounds, and points at this point in his career. And you look at the list and it's like Luka Doncic, Giannis, it's like all these incredible fucking players. And that's what I'm saying. If we want to look at benchmarks and development with Scottie, look at how his overall stats for his first 2 years stack up with some of the young, great players that are around in the league right now. He is very much in a good company with people like Luka Doncic. So anybody who thinks that Scottie's failing or he's not doing well in his development this year, you're fucking crazy. Because all the stats are pointing to that he is on a level with certain top tier players with how much he's produced all around with his stats. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Jam Joseph is saying if we had Yak in the beginning of the year, we'd be top 3 or 5 in the East. I think we'd be top 3, honestly. Don't give us that, Jam Joseph. Give us the top 3. We'd be up there with Milwaukee and Boston instead of Philadelphia. Who knows? That could be very well true. Really, really could be true. Leslie saying Chris Boucher mentioned ever since the Raptors won the chip, fans in the arena are not the same. I think it's just the fancy people who want to be seen in the seats surrounding the court. This is true to a degree. This really is true. I mean, listen, people want to be a part of winning. That's why we got so popular all of a sudden. You know, people want to be a part of something that's like successful and winning. And it's real easy way as a sports fan is to feel that extra feeling of success on all their hard work and everything that they've done, their blood, sweat, and tears. Well, you're a part of that nation. You feel it. Well, it's very attractive and inviting winning a championship in 2019. And a lot of people just want to come in and get the spoils. Some of those people weren't around before, like we were, and having to go through the hard times, the difficult times. So when we go through difficult times now, they don't know how to react. They don't have a real perception of basis of reality with what the Raptors should be doing, because they just expect them to always be as good as they were the championship year. So there's a lot of that going on. And then, of course, what Leslie is saying, this is true. The lower bowl at the Scotiabank Arena is not usually the best fans. They're usually very kind of like hoity-toity, rich, and just kind of like they're just there to be seen. Hey, I'm sitting at the front row. Can you see me on TV? I look handsome. Yes. Yes, look how handsome I look in the front row at the Raptors game on Saturday night. Yeah, maybe I'll get a date from somebody seeing me on the TV. Woo. Well, I'll tell you something, Leslie. On Wednesday, when the Indiana Pacers come to Toronto, we will have some lower bowl loudness coming in there. Yeah, there ain't gonna be no hoity-toity fancy people down there in the section of 115 in a certain row number 10, because that's gonna be where the Gubstown Clink, Mr. Tom Duke, and David Saborin, and myself will be sitting there, maybe with a young beaver puppet also, but maybe not. And we will be loud. Trust me, we are gonna be so fucking loud on Wednesday. Trust me. Yeah, save your voices. Guys, save your voices, because we come in there to lose them on Wednesday. That's right. We come in there to lose them. Shere Khan saying, too bad Cat and Ant did not play. Felt like we could have taken that task as well. Not sure Cat fits in with his new look at Minnesota team. Maybe he'll be an odd man out if they go for another big move for small forward, maybe. You know, Shere Khan, I've never bought into this move that they made to get Gobert last summer. I thought that Gobert and Towns is a really lofty idea that probably doesn't work in reality. Like in theory, it sounds good. Twin towers, this and this, they're kind of different. You know, Cat can be outside. Gobert's more down low. You know, I understand all that, but Gobert sucks. That's the biggest thing on the down low. That's the problem. Utah knows this, and that's why they sent him away. So if I was Minnesota and I was in the front office, I wouldn't be looking to move Cat. I'd be looking to move Rudy along even further, because he is the problem. He's the worst part of the whole puzzle. And, you know, I would be keeping Cat with Ant and moving Rudy if I could, that if I was Minnesota, seriously, because I don't think it works. The two of them together don't work. They don't. I don't think Cat and him work, partly because what happens when they're both on the court together, Anthony Edwards has no room to maneuver. He really does become, I've used this analogy before. He becomes like Spider-Man. He has to go between the buildings and like find his way through there. And it's too clogged up with two big centers out there that don't move very fast, that it's harder for Edwards to operate. So I think that's a smart move for that front office, is to get rid of Gobert. Go ahead and trade him further away from you. Cause he honestly, I have no respect for him. He's a garbage NBA player in a lot of ways. He really is. He could be so much better than he is. And I can tell he just doesn't try. He just doesn't try. All right, I jumped. Let me make sure I get back to the right place so that I get everybody's comments. There's so much fun stuff. Yeah. All right, let's see. Tristan saying it, Leslie, and I agree. I think a lot of the heart has been taken out of the arena. You know, this is symptomatic of the Leaf games also. That lower bowl just doesn't have like the blue collar, working class, dad and his kid kind of like people coming to the games anymore. That it really becomes like a corporate thing. It becomes like a celebrity thing. It becomes like a, you know, a higher upper class kind of, you know, I mean, how the fuck is somebody going to pay for something that's the length of a movie, you know, $5,000 or $10,000? Who the fuck is going to pay those prices? Well, people like this. And that's just how it is. In some ways, you hope that those really rich people can be diehards like us. And there are some that are like that. I shouldn't paint them all with the same brush. It's just that there's a lot more people that are in that lower bowl that really don't know jack shit about the NBA, and they're just there to be there. And there's nothing wrong with that too. It's just that we want some of the real ones that are up on the 300 level downstairs more, because those are the people that get rowdy and loud, and the ones that really know how to cheer the Raptors to a victory. The people upstairs. That's right. Logical saying the Hydra attack offense is the way to have a team that wins in the playoffs. Fred VanVleet is really getting that going at the moment. Fred can be talked to by Nick and Masai and will change for the team. He's selfish? He's selfish? I know all these dumb narratives that were purported all season by a dumbass that has a YouTube channel have all really got really like debunked in the last month. Everything about Fred that he said is all fucking off point and stupid. This man is unselfish. This man can still shoot and make shots and still set everybody up. He's a really, really good point guard. And I am so glad Fred is on our team. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you, Mike, for pointing all this out. Sheer Constant, Raptor Freak family. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like Raps are able to get a dunk fest started easier because they can break down defenses at a high rate. This new unit chemistry in less than 20 games is rad. I love Sheer Khan's enthusiasm. He's such a breath of fresh air in Raptor Freak family since he's come with and joined us in the last couple months. Seriously, this enthusiasm is a badass. Sheer Khan, never lose it. Never, never lose it. And I agree with you. Their dunks seem like they're coming more often in very dramatic fashion. There's some dunks by OG and Chris and Precious before and Scottie that are just phenomenal. Even Jakob with some of the dunks that he's had recently are just insane and badass. And I'm so here for it. I know this is part of what livens up the crowd and gets them woken up is by a sensational play by OG Anunoby putting a putback dunk or something like that. It is really awesome and it is fun to watch. We love seeing the athleticism of the Raptors on display doing incredible things on the court. And we do see them. Scottie's breakaway dunk, getting hit. That's so hard to do, but he does it and makes it look so easy. Fantastic stuff. I love your enthusiasm, Sheer Khan. I really do. Tristan saying Raptors afternoon. Let's go with the Beaver friend. The Beaver friend. Hey, here he is. He's down here. He's just kind of hanging out. But yeah, he Raptors afternoon. Maybe you'll see it on Wednesday at Real Sports with me and Tom and Greg. Who knows? We'll have to see. G saying Tatum takes the second most shots in the league. Brown the 7th versus Pascal at 15th and Fred at 34th. The next highest shooting Celtic is Malcolm at 85th. Yet the Raptors have Gary at 48, Scottie at 54, OG at 59. This is fantastic. And this clarifies a lot of this issue that Tabatov's brought up. Well, let's look at the shot distribution for the Raptors and see that it's a lot more equal than other teams in this league, specifically the Celtics. So, yeah, I'm all about this. Like, these are great stats, G. I'm glad you brought this up and you put these forth for us because that really does kind of point out that this is silly. Scottie's going to take a bigger piece of the pie as time goes on. Just let it naturally happen the way it's supposed to. Tristan saying Celtics fans are saying trade Precious. Just kidding. But I was saying on Raptors Tonight yesterday that Precious would be good to bring in tonight defensively. Perfect. Yeah, great minds think alike, Tristan. I was thinking about this also. When Nick said that he wants to play Precious tonight, I was like, well, that obviously means he wants to use him on Giannis. And that totally makes sense and is very smart. That, all really good defensive players on deck when you got to deal with Anaconto. And Precious is one of our premium, really good defenders in all kinds of ways. He can play the outside, he can play the inside, he can do all kinds of different stuff. So he definitely makes sense to get good rotation minutes tonight. And I'm pretty sure he will. And good thinking. Tristan thought that too. And I agree. We need Precious for defense tonight, for sure. Sheer Khan saying, Scottie's not technically sound for most of the stuff he does, but that's kind of a sign of a superstar. Duncan was only fundamental player with that franchise star status. Maybe Akeem with the dream shake. Well, Akeem was a very good offensive player too. Like, trust me, he was both ends. Akeem was very, very good defensively, obviously with the blocks and steals, but his offense was super overpowering too. And he was usually in the top 10 in scores at the end of the year too. So he's definitely an all-round player, Akeem Olajuwon. Now, Duncan's interesting, and he's a good comparison for Scottie in a lot of ways. I like the way he plays team defense just like Duncan. I like the fact that Scottie can get blocks just like Duncan. I like the fact that he rebounds and really takes a priority on defensive rebounds like Duncan. And that's why, when I said to people last summer, Scottie, you're a little bit like Duncan. People were like laughing at me. Like, what? Duncan? He's such an important, incredible, good player in this league. Well, Scottie can do a lot of the same stuff that Tim Duncan used to do. And don't think I'm crazy for saying that. More and more, we're going to see it. Trust me. Logical saying, real ones know Precious is special and definitely worth keeping. Yeah, it's just like Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? Oh, Nick Nurse is DMPing you. Okay, you're no good. You're garbage. Get rid of him. It could very well be, like I said, a Celtic fan sees this and like Precious is so good. Maybe the Raptors will get rid of him because they're not using him right now. Let's start that shit. Yeah, let's start the bullshit online saying, oh, that Precious isn't playing. They should trade him. Oh, trade Precious, trade Precious. Anybody who's saying trade Precious today, just shut up. We're not trying to trade Precious. But listen, we gave up the GROAT to get Precious. You think Masai's trying to get rid of Precious all of a sudden now? No. He's one of his guys. He's a kid that Masai really has an interest in. He's had an interest in him for a while. And getting him from Miami, that was a really big part of the whole thing. Forget about fucking dumbass Dragic. It was about Precious. And we gave up Lowry to get Precious. And we're not going to give up Precious now after all that, especially when there's no reason to give him up. If everybody's saying that there's a reason to give him up, what is your reasoning? Seriously, what's the reasoning for giving up Precious at this point? What is the reasoning? Hello? No good reason. There's no good reason. Isaac is saying NBA is going to poke the Kyle Lowry bear out of this young team. Discrepancies in play calling, weird revolving doors of ref jobs, and now video replay is dead. Young team now W's proactive with a purpose. Win by 10. That's right. Keep that lead big so the refs can't manipulate the game at the end and make some fucked up bad calls and railroad us to a loss all of a sudden. That is such an important thing the Raptors to do. We've done it these last 3 games and had huge success, having double-digit leads, carrying them into the fourth quarter, and separating from the other team when it really matters. We got to do that and try and do that tonight. Ideally, I'd love for it to happen tonight, that we come into this game tonight, badass, gangbusters, on a really hot start, score a bunch, and get the lead on the Bucks right away. Maybe the Bucks are a little rusty. Maybe they're flat. They don't fucking play well. And by the end of the first quarter, we're up on the Bucks by 10 points. What if we can just add to that more in the second quarter and just keep building and building? And then they kind of like, well, this is a night where we're going to just kind of fucking roll over and let the Raptors win because they're outplaying us totally this whole entire game. I'd love to see this happen tonight. And I can predict this is possible. Seriously, the way we played recently, we could really get rolling. And if we get a double-digit lead and we keep them kind of held down on us, there's no reason why we can't do this to the Bucks tonight and get a big W tonight against the top team in the East. I'm all about it. Lion Hunter saying, inject Lex Rants in my veins. You can get it the syringe and wrap your arm and just, that's a good hit, bro. Ooh. Hilarious liner. I love it. Curtis is saying our offense is looking really good right now. If we keep it up tonight and play some defense, we'll win. I like that. That's a good key to victory. We got to make sure, like, seriously, how's this game going to turn? Are we going to play East Coast or West Coast basketball? We're going to play some grinded out defensive, low scoring East Coast. Okay. We got physicality and match them. All right. Are you guys going to try and run us off the court, scoring like crazy ass baskets, Milwaukee Bucks? Well, we're going to have to try and keep up then. In fact, we may have the defensive side favors us more in that battle, but we may not be able to control this. This may very well get out of hand and turn into a scoring race. Well, we've got better firepower than usual right now, than most of the season. Hopefully our firepower can match up with them in a shootout, because it could go that way. I'm really seeing it. It could go either way. It's either going to be a really defensive, ugly game where it's going to be grinding it out and very physical, or it's going to be like, let's run and go and score like 130 to 140 points, because we're going to need a lot of points tonight to beat Milwaukee. That's just the trends. I looked at their schedule. Everybody who's beaten the Bucks has had to score at least 130 points in the last 2 or 3 months. So we got to do that. We got to, if we're going to score with them, we got to score a lot. Tristan saying Lopez ain't taking no headband off Gary with Yak around. Ooh, that's actually a good point. That'd be really funny to see that. Lopez really stood up for Giannis in Sacramento the other day with Trey Lyles, and they got in a big fight. He got fined. He didn't get suspended like Lyles did. But that's the thing. This is a part of what it is to mean as a big guy on the team. You're supposed to look out for other people like Serge Ibaka would. That Jakob has that role at this point, that he's kind of like our big guy to help out. I mean, we've seen Scottie get in people's faces this year in that kind of way also. So it's like we got a few guys, even OG. he can be a bit of a brute and a bit of a strong arm too in these kind of situations too, silently. So yeah, this will be interesting to see. I mean, Lopez, his antics are always interesting because he is a big clown. He really is. If he wins Defensive Player of the Year this year, I'm gonna be like, this is a fucking farce. Seriously, you're gonna give this big goof, this clown, the fucking Defensive Player of the Year? Fuck that shit. You can't give him the Defensive Player of the Year. He's a dirty player and he flops and he acts like a big idiot, honestly. Mike saying, son of Sam, Wild Brooks Brothers. Oh, man. Yeah, I was going off a little bit. Yeah, Brook Lopez is a bit like the way he was talking after that game with Gary Trent's headband. He's like, it was talking to me. I had to touch it. And I'm like, this motherfucker's like a serial killer or some shit. This motherfucker's like Son of Sam. That's why I was thinking that. Seriously, he is not right upstairs. If he's acting, well, okay, you go ahead. You got everybody thinking you're fucking crazy, Brook Lopez. Nameless is saying, Chef Lex, be cooking some something. All right, let's see. Kareem Thomas is saying CP24 just released a statement saying there's 2 men wanted for a couple of crimes. 1 man catching bodies and another man stealing 5 times. Witnesses say they're heading to Wisconsin. Can we guess who? Oh my gosh, Kareem, you do this every once in a while. You know you're getting a dunk for this. I love this fake CP24 reporting. You know, Kareem, you know how 5 dunks now. You are the dunk leader on this channel with David and Space Cadet with 2 each. And Seymour has 2 also. But you have 5. The leader, Kareem Thomas. I just love the creativity. And I almost thought this was a real headline you were telling me. But then when I saw the 5 times stealing, I was like, yeah, I know what that is. And the catching the bodies, I think that's OG, right? Yeah, I think that's who you're talking about. OG, Anunoby, and Gary Trent Jr. are the men you're looking for, police. Tristan saying OG and Gary going to jail. Whoop, whoop. Logical saying, respect, Lex. I dropped my shotgunning and play-in for what? Okay, yeah, I saw that. You're talking about Tampa, play-in for what? A revisited. Definitely check out Mike's channel and give him a follow, subscribe, and check out his cool content. Very good stuff by Logical Raptors Fanatic. That is the name of the channel. Race Mode's here. He loves my A-Team theme song. Laughing my ass off. Made me think about the bench mob. Well, they all growed up. Now they're the starter mob. And yeah, it is like the A-Team, really is. You want that 4-person syncopation with Amy, the reporter. You know, it's like you do what you got to do, John Hannibal Smith and Templeton Peck, and get that fucking lawn chair into balloons and piping and then float right on out of jail. That's right. There was an episode where the A-Team were wrongfully incarcerated and they're in the jail and they're in like the yard. And they somehow got PVC piping in lawn chairs and a bunch of balloons, and they float their way out of jail. A-Team, you badasses. Yes, I love you so much. One of my favorite shows when I was a little kid. Kareem saying, legend has it that Gary's wearing 2 headbands tonight. Oh, wait. Okay. Kareem's getting a 2 for, oh my gosh, that's so good. Just in case that motherfucker takes one of them off and starts talking to it or walking away with it, Gary will have a second headband on underneath. I love that, Kareem. So good. Kareem's on today. He really is. Shane saying, we haven't had a bench because of everyone's inconsistency and injuries. Now that we are settling into consistent, healthy repetition, the bench will be just fine, and I'm excited for the next few weeks. Let's fucking go. You go, Shane Waters, on your birthday week. Yes. Listen, I love what Jack said about Precious in the game late last night. He said this, you know, Jakob has shown up and that it's more competitive on this team to get time, and you have to play at a certain premium. The premium has gone up. The price is not the same as it was early in the season, Achua. You have to play at a certain level to really get into that club and play regular rotation minutes for the Raptors right now. You see, Gary has to play at a certain level. Chris has to play at a certain level. Well, you've got to play at a certain level, Precious, to earn those rotation minutes, to get that time, because your value on the court with so many more good players around like Will Barton and Jakob Poeltl. And that's the whole thing. This is going to bring your game up, Precious, if you meet the challenge. You have to look at yourself and do what you can do to take care of this. It's not on the coach. You can't get and sit and feel sorry for yourself. You can't do any of that kind of shit. You got to meet the challenge, rise up to the occasion, and make Nick Nurse force him to play you because you're so damn good. He cannot afford not to. And that's your challenge, Precious, if you choose to accept it. And I love how Jack laid it all out in the broadcast last night. He's exactly damn right. This is an opportunity, Precious. You go and do this like the Eye of the Tiger, like Rocky Balboa, and rise up to the challenge of your rivals. That's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah. Mike is saying B.A. Boucher. Yeah. Who would be who on the Raptors in the A team? Get Chris Boucher of Mohawk with the mandala, or what? That's what they call it, right? With the mohawk with the beard around the ear, and then coming down here with the mustache. Oh, pity the fool. I pity the fool to mess with me. Yeah, Mr. T. I love Larry. Larry's awesome, man. He's so cool, Mr. T. He's like a hero of mine when I was a little kid. I used to love the A team. Seriously, I really did. I really, really loved the A team when I was little. B.A. Boucher. I ain't getting on no plane, Hannibal. Oh man, I love Mr. T. Tristan saying Boucher, Christian, Precious, Gary. With that bench, not too bad. Looking forward to UFC Lopez versus Poeltl tonight. Yeah, we'll have to see. Poeltl's an understated, strong person. I thought it was funny that when he came back, he was talking to the reporters, and he's like, Pascal said he was stronger than you back before, but now you've come back, you're stronger than him now. And Pearl's like, I was never less stronger than Pascal. I've always been stronger than him. Jakob, yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, this will be interesting. I'm not trying to diss our bench. I think we have the bench that could be this bench, and they could rise up and be very good at different times. It's not consistent. And in some ways, it's the way Nick uses them. It's really hard to be successful in those kind of settings. It's so do or die. Either you do it or you don't get to play. And in some ways, it's Nick's way of handling it that makes it like this. Well, these guys just have to try and do it his way. And that's the tough thing. If they consistently showed a scoring output other than just Gary, I would be having more faith in saying that we have a complete bench, but they just don't. It's just how it is. Banana Bread Tan saying, OG be cooking. Excited to see him make space for himself out there on the floor and scoring. We already have a big three. OG might be the better of Pascal, Fred, and OG. He just needs to grow into higher usage. Yeah. And he'll get it naturally. There's some nights where he naturally does become the high usage number one guy on the court. I know a lot of that happened earlier in the season when Pascal was out. He kind of had to be like that Pascal role, and he did very well. And that's the thing. It's like, listen, I don't even look at it as having a big three. Some people were trying to say last year our big three is Scottie, Pascal, and Fred. But is that kind of disses OG? And in some ways, we got to really factor in Poeltl as far as how important he is at this point with this roster currently. So it's like, I don't even like to think that we have a big three. I think we have a big six. Seriously, you got to put Gary in there too and put some shine on him. So forget about the whole idea of a big three. You need a big six when you're talking about the Raptors. And that's part of the reason why we're having such a hard time picking who the three stars are for games after the games at this point, because it could honestly be any of the six on any given night. They're all playing so well. So yeah, I like that big six idea. Nameless is saying Scottie Barnes is now a proud partner and co-owner of OG's Plumbing Service. Congratulations, Scott. I love that. Yes, Scottie, he can be a plumber. He's definitely a plumber at times. Precious, a fantastic plumber. Pascal, an underrated plumber with plumbing tools too. Yeah, I love that, Nameless. Shirkan saying too bad about the 905, but I'm still in the camp of treating G League as training ground. If Raps win, then that's a bonus. But still like effort from whoever was left to play. Kelly almost had the tip in. He really did. He was this close. And he was so mad after the game. He took that ball and slammed it right down. And you could tell he was so frustrated about not making that tip in and being the hero. He really wanted to be that hero in that split second. With 0.3 seconds on the clock, that's not enough time to actually, they were saying this, the announcers, to actually grab it and dunk it. It really is, you can just touch it and tap it. Because if you actually get control of it, they're going to consider that longer than a second, and you will definitely not get it shot. So they really didn't have time, because if he could have grabbed it and dunked it, he would have made it for sure. But he had to tip it, and it didn't go in, unfortunately. It's too bad. G saying, yes, Fred and Pascal took shots at the beginning to pull the defense on them, while Jakob sets up screens, leaving Scottie and OG open. This is pretty basic basketball, to be honest. Not sure why it's an issue. Yeah. What's not to like? The whole thing about the Raptors offense at this point is they got to dissect the defense. In some ways, they really look to see what the defense gives them. If Scottie's got a little guard on his back, well, they're trying to low post him and back somebody down. Same thing for OG. In some ways, that's what they do. They look for the weak link on the other team's defense and they attack it. It could be any of the players. It could be a small guard that has to guard OG. It could be a smaller center on Jakob. It could be that Fred has an advantage of quickness over the guy who's trying to guard him. This is all things that they're trying to read. And this is a big reason why who gets what shots and when is really reading the defense and breaking it down. And it could be any of the 5 guys that are on the court that are making the shots. That's a great thing about our team. So anybody who's worried about distribution of shots and stuff like that, understand the defense of the other team and the mismatches is what dictates who's getting so many shots. And Nick has tried to explain this to the press and people in press conference recently, and they're just not getting it. If you don't understand why Scottie and OG don't get as many shots as Pascal and Fred, well, understand that this is part of the reason why. And in some ways, they should be the first options because they're more tried and true, have more experience doing it. But if they're not able to get their shots off, well, then we start looking at OG. We start looking at Scottie and start using them instead because they've got Pascal tied up or Fred is not able to get open to try and shoot threes. That is a big part of it right there. Monique is saying 27 and 10 last night for Pascal, and he passes Jose Calderon for 5th on all-time Raptors double-doubles. Yeah, they told him that after the game. And like Kayla said, we know you don't care about these kind of things or pay attention to them, obviously, because you're not trying to get triple-doubles. But yeah, he has passed Jose Calderon on all-time double-doubles list for the Raptors franchise all-time. And that's a big deal because if you guys don't realize, Jose had so many double-doubles back then. I mean, he was a double-double machine for a while with his assists. In fact, he was more likely to get double digits in assists some games than even double digits in points. That's the kind of distributor Jose Calderon was around the late 2000s into the 2010s for us. I think this is impressive because seriously, Jose was a double-double machine for a while with the assists and points. And so, Siakam, take your shine, even if you don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. Nameless is saying OG and Barnes, plumbing services, licensed plumbers, and steam fitters. Nameless knows this is his he knows about this occupation. So yeah, any kind of like plumbing verbiage or like terms that you use, whenever you add them into what we're talking about, like you were talking about gang clogging or something the other night, like gang clogging or something. I don't know what it was. It's always fun to actually use the real plumbing terms because Nameless knows them with what we're talking about with the Raptors. Shere Khan saying Precious is that bench piece that has tremendous potential. Have to be patient with him. His first year was wasted in Miami. I agree with that. More like a sophomore slump for him. Next year, Precious is going to dunk on the NBA. You know, listen, that's the thing. Once again, it's not linear, as Masai likes to put it. It's going to be ups and downs. And last year, Precious was riding on such a high after the All-Star break that in some ways people are seeing it now and they're like, well, why isn't he going off like he did last year at this time? And like that's not a good way to gauge this. Every time, every place and certain places in the league in the season is different year to year. You can look at where Fred was last year at this time and look at where Fred is now at this time. And it's night and day. So it's like different players have different places and biorhythms and health and different things that are happening to them that are somewhat contribute to whether they're having good output on the court or not. And yeah, Precious is going to be fine. He needs to start with the rebounding and the defense. The offense will come later, and the minutes will come later too, for sure. Yeah, I believe in him too, Shere Khan. I love Precious. I want him to be a Raptor for a long time. Fiercey saying a win is a win, talking about not winning the right way. I know. What does that even mean, Fiercey? Not winning in the right way. Did they cheat? Did they cheat to win? Is that what you mean when you say they didn't win in the right way? What did they do that they did in the wrong way? They won. They took care of business. In fact, listen, it wasn't even like it was close. They won 122 to 107. They really separated from the end. In fact, I will start building a conversation or argument against that to say they did very much win the right way. They built a lead at a very key time at the end of the third quarter and expanded it as the end of the game went. And they allowed for garbage time, 3 minutes of garbage time to get the starters, the main people out and get them rested for 3 minutes. That's important. In fact, that's the right way to do it because you got a double-double and you're playing the Bucks tonight. So I don't understand this. How did they not win in the right way? They won by so much that they could afford garbage time and rest their starters. That sounds like the right way to win to me. That does sound like the right way to win instead of a close one, a nail biter, where you got to tire your starters out completely because you have to play them the whole majority of the game. Nah, I think we did win the right way last night. I think we really, really did. Yeah. Monique is saying Raptors are 8-5 with Poeltl starting. Not a bad record. Speaking of Poeltl, he quietly went 7 of 8 for 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 assists. Not flashy, just effective. That's exactly right. Once again, Poeltl in some ways rubs off on Scottie. And that's the thing. This is the thing. That connection of Poeltl, Popovich, Duncan, to Poeltl, Poeltl's mine. Who knows how many times Tim Duncan came down to the Spurs practice facility and worked with Jakob Poeltl in the last 3 or 4 years. Who knows? I know he went down there a few times. I know that he did. I saw pictures of him, and I know he loved to pop in and surprise everybody. Hey, guys, Tim's here. Hey, Tim. And I wonder how many times Tim Duncan took Jakob Poeltl aside and taught him maybe some secrets about the NBA, some things about what he used to know and do. And maybe, that in some ways, think about that. Information could get passed. And I'm telling you, that's a pipeline in some ways, Poeltl to Barnes from Duncan. And that's what I'm saying. This is not a bad influence for somebody to have. And this is the thing. Duncan, once again, what was he the kind of player? He was an all-star. He was an amazing all-NBA player. But was he flashy? Did he have to score the most points? No. He was doing all kinds of other stuff. He was doing all the dirty work, the hard work, the in-between work that not everybody likes doing. And that is why Scott is a lot like him, because he's that kind of way. And as much as Monique is describing Jakob Poeltl doing that kind of stuff, well, Scottie was too last night. He really, really was. Really good game by Poeltl. He's just solid. In some ways, we can pencil him in for a double-double every night. Leslie saying, laugh out loud, Lex. Those 3 refs, brothers Taylor and Malloy, are the LAPD in the 90s during the Rodney King situation. Leslie's getting a dunk. I'm going to give Leslie a dunk today. That's awesome. Great comment. That's kind of a funny comparison, I guess. You like my cops in the story? I mean, I've decided since the refs want to be so superstars in the league and get so much publicity and put on blast, I decided to add them to the real mascot matchup. And of course, they're all in jobs of authority. But if you noticed, the 3 old head refs are police officers, while Ben Taylor is actually just a lifeguard. I love it. Comma crazy. I love that. Comma crazy. Sunday, easy on the swearing, buddy. Be mature. Whoa, bro. There's no rules here. Listen, this channel is not for kids. I marked that on here. This is an adult channel. This is for adults only. And I don't care about Sunday. Sunday's just any other day to me. Listen, I don't go to church, although I did last Sunday. I'm sorry. I apologize. If it does really offend you, I apologize. But I had told myself, and I'll tell you right now, my parents listen to me, and I've wondered about, does my mom cringe sometimes when I say some things? Because honestly, what I'm trying to do with this channel is be absolutely unfiltered, absolutely 100% Lex. And in some ways, this is who I am, and I can't turn it off. The only way I can do this is free form flow of whatever is coming out of my head. And unfortunately, cuss words are a part of my vocabulary. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry. I really do sincerely apologize. In some ways, listen, I used to work in radio, and I do know how to work without cussing. But for some reason, this channel is just something I'm so passionate about. I don't want to have rules for myself is part of it. I really, really don't. I want to be unfiltered 100% me. And in some ways, this is who I am. Unfortunately, I am a older 40-year-old that does not have any children. So I don't have any filter around kids. I don't have that lifestyle. I don't have a family lifestyle. So this is just me, unapologetically me. I apologize. And honestly, I am sorry because I know that some of the cussing does really turn people off from my channel. But this is who I am, and this is what I want to do. And unfortunately, there's no rectifying it. I don't think I can change. It's been this way. My father, I talked to him about this. I said, does it bother you that I cuss so much on the channel. He said, no, I want you to be exactly yourself, your natural voice. I'm proud of you. That's what he said to me. And I know my mom says, oh, sometimes you say things that really kind of cringe, make her cringe. But they love me, and they love me unconditionally as being myself. And they have no problem with me cussing my parents. And like I said, I don't have any children. There's no little kids running around in here. They're going to hear me cussing. So it's just how it is. I'm sorry, Calm Crazy. But I can try and work on it more and more. And maybe in the evolution of this channel, I may get a little bit more professional over the years and cut it out. But in some ways, I kind of really like the way it is already. But this is something I've grappled with. It's like, do I want as many people as possible to follow my channel? No, that's not my goal. I want to be 100% myself. That's my goal. And in some ways, I have to do that. I'm going to turn people off. But that's okay, because I know that the ones that really enjoy me and like me the way I am will like me the way I am and accept me the way I am. And that's enough for me, because I'm not a channel for everyone. I understand that. They're very long streams, and I am kind of crazy and a little and I do cuss a lot, but I'm passionate about this team. Take the cussing as being passion. But you know what? Common crazy, maybe I will cut down on it just a little bit because of people that just come in and say something like this. But yeah, Sunday morning doesn't matter to me. I'm not a religious person. I'm agnostic. So yeah, Nameless is saying there's no such thing as the right way to win, because all the preparation in the world is only a guideline. That's right. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what could happen down the road. There's all kinds of forks in the road and crazy developments where you have to adjust and do different things. You can try and prepare for every single possible thing that could happen, but then there's a speaker fire and you didn't prepare for that. So that there is a lot to that. And like, you know, the right way to win, what does that even mean? I think the right way to win is just winning. You know, you can play really good fundamental basketball that leads to winning. And that's what the right way to win means to me. Play clean basketball, mistake-free basketball, mature basketball. And that's the right way to win. You don't want to win by the skin of your teeth. You don't want to win on a fluke. You don't want to win because the referees handed you the win. You want to win the right way by taking care of the ball, making your shots, playing good defense, rebound the ball, no second chance, making your free throws. You know, that's the right way to win. And I don't think that the Raptors did anything that was off of that last night. So I don't understand. Why did they not win the right way last night? I don't understand that. Shirkan saying, Lex, I love the dunks on the one who shall not be named. Why even make content if not happy with a win? Do you think Milwaukee, Boston, and Philadelphia care about how they win? Heck no. Record doesn't care how you get there. That's right, Shirkan. You speak the truth. You know, listen, I don't understand why people put so much time into making content if they don't enjoy it. I really do very much enjoy doing this channel. And I want to talk about positive things and things that I'm passionate about, that I love. I don't want to talk about things that I hate or be an ultimate critic that's just cynical and just really negative, like it seems like this guy's doing. Like, why are you doing this, bro? Isn't there so many other things you could do with your life? Maybe you could have a different hobby. Maybe your channel should be on another team because you may treat them a little bit better. Maybe it should be like, I don't know, your channel's name is basketball. Do more on all of basketball and maybe not so focused just on Fred VanVleet. I mean, seriously, you could go do other topics around basketball maybe, but it seems like you have a very centralized, focused purpose for what you're doing, and it's not positive, and it's like you're in hell. It's almost like you're a tortured man that you still continue to make content even though you're so miserable. Like, what the fuck is that? Seriously, we're wondering about you, bro. You could maybe find better things to do with your time, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I know how much work I put into doing this stream and like getting prepared and watching so many games and watching so many interviews and scouting stuff and looking at everything. It's a lot of fucking work. And this is the thing. This dude's doing work too, but he's miserable. Why are you doing it so much then? Why do you care? Why are you making content if you're so miserable, Panzer? Seriously, why are you doing it? Why even bother? Seriously, you may be happier if you stepped away from your YouTube channel. Maybe you could be very happy in your life. Maybe that's what you need to do. Mike's saying, I was talking with some of my debate people, and they have noticed this. After the Raps played Jokic and AD, the other teams have copied the defensive game plan. Nuggets and Lakers are slumping at the moment. Yes. Listen, this is true. Listen, this is the thing. Anybody, all right, this is good ammunition to protect Nick Nurse. obviously Nick Nurse is kind of a rogue, a scallion, a guy who kind of goes against the system, tries weird stuff. He's a gambler. And in some ways, he's so innovative and smart that he leads this league with ideas and concepts in coaching. We saw what he did with the Bucks and won in the NBA Finals in 2019, and how other teams have employed it in the years since. Well, this is what I'm saying. He's the smart kid in class that all the other kids are cheating off of on their test. That basically he shows the way. This is how I dismantled the Denver Nuggets. This is how I dismantled the Lakers. Well, you want to know how to do it? You can go watch and see what Nick does, and boom, try and copy it. This is so true. And this has been something on the download that's been happening for a few years since Nick's been our coach, that he gets ripped off and they try and do his stuff all over the place. And he's usually the innovator. Now, Earl Watson has said that he's the genius, Nick Nurse, at defensive strategies and shutting down really top level players in the NBA. That he had a giddiness to him when I went to the coach's open house in the fall. And when Earl Watson was speaking to us, he talked about Nick Nurse like he was some sort of like guru, a defensive guru that really loves the puzzle of each NBA game and trying to shut down the best players on the other team. Tonight, Giannis. And that, the things like the Giannis wall that he used on him in the playoffs, and the things that he's done to different people like Jokic recently are very much a part of his genius, as Earl Watson calls it. He says Nick Nurse is a defensive genius. And that when he said it, Earl Watson said it, he was like giddy because he loves and understands it's such a privilege for him to sit on the bench next to him and hear him in real time coach this game and come up with these schemes and see what he's doing. In some ways, Earl Watson is going to become a very, very good NBA coach soon because he is learning so much from Nick Nurse. Now, Earl Watson's always been a good offensive coach, but maybe not the best defensive coach. But now, if he's getting the tutelage of Nick Nurse, he'll be a better all-round, well-rounded coach because of this. So, man, there's so many good things about what Mike is saying here because it's true. They copied us afterwards, and the Nuggets continue to lose. It's so good. David Saborn is here. Yes, sir. 115, row 8, number 3. Look out. We're all going to be sitting over there, and it's going to be nuts. I don't know if the 100 level can handle what's coming on Wednesday. Seriously. They don't just be speaker fire. There's going to be other fires going on. Not like bad fires, good fires. Like fires in the hands of the Raptors, like shooting so hot. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that David did this. Like, it's so fun that David has gotten a seat near us, and now he's going to be sitting with us. That's so good. Tristan's saying, like, nice mashup. Nice matchup. Yeah. Let's see. Monica's saying, Raptors now won 3 games in a row by 15 or more points. I like what I'm seeing. Well, that's the thing. We can't let Ed Malloy screw around with us and try and make Minnesota win at the end of the game. You have to make sure you win by keeping that margin nice and wide so there's no manipulation at the end where they give them a couple more baskets or a couple more free throws, and boom, all of a sudden they steal a game from us right at the end of the game. This is something we've learned the hard lessons over the course of the season. Close games that just slip out of our hands and we lose by 2 points or 1 point. We hate those kind of games. And that's why we want to make damn sure we don't have them. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Nameless is saying it becomes a status symbol what you are trying to say. Being seen at these sporting events has become a status symbol. Yeah. I always look at Drake's seats because I want to see, first of all, if Drake's there with Adonis. But then I always see like, well, okay, why is that person sitting in Drake's seats? Did he sell the seats to the person, or is he a friend of Drake? Or is like Drake's like, yeah, go on my seats, sit in my seats next to Matt and Jack. It's so cool. I was wondering about who is in Drake's seats and why do they get to sit there? Did they buy the seats from him, or are they friends of his and he let them go on his tickets? I don't know. I wonder about that. And then some of the people sitting near the court, you look at them and you're like, this person doesn't really know basketball. You can tell. You can just look at them. They're just kind of like sitting there watching, and you're like, I really wonder how much knowledge they have about the sport. If they're just sitting there, they're just watching. They really don't seem like they have like a very shallow surface level like knowledge about the game. I don't think these are people that are very educated NBA like fans. They're just like you said, they're people that just want to be there to be seen on TV. And maybe that they get home and it's like, oh, Gloria, did you see me at the front row at the Raptors game? Oh my gosh, how did my makeup look? Is it shit like that going on? I don't know. It may be like that. Sheer Constant been tracking the post-trade stats for the Raptors. With a 9-6 record, our guys are shooting 1% over the league average from beyond the arc and 5th best opponent points total for teams this year. Awesome. I love those kind of stats. There are improvements that we've had since Jakob has showed up for sure. Efficiency, shooting, just different things. Fred's stats have gone up. Pascal's have kind of been a little weird. They've kind of gone down, but they're working their way out into the right kind of place where they should be with Jakob around. In some ways you could say Scottie in some ways has gotten better, but it's also kind of been hurt by Jakob being around. Obviously Precious, a big chunk of his playing time and the rebounding burden that he was handling for us this season has been taken up by Jakob also. So there's been a little bit of repercussions in different places for different people in different degrees. And it's just how it is. Obviously, we much prefer having a center and having Jakob around, and that we're in much better shape with him here, which is really good. Sue's here. Good to see Sue. Good morning, everyone. Great win. We were on a streak. Yes. Play it again, Sue. Check out Sue's YouTube channel. She reacts to music videos and songs with Chelsea, her friend, and other friends. Play it again, Sue. It's on YouTube. Check it out. It's a great channel. Jam Joseph is saying Deshev versus Pencher heating up. We got the guy called Chev out saying squash the beef. I never thought I would ever see basketball content creators beefing with each other, let alone Raptors creators. Yeah, well, this kind of makes sense. I mean, we all have opinions. I beefed a little bit with Pencer myself. I beef with different people at different times. I don't mind beefing. I beef just because, listen, I will stand for the honor of the Toronto Raptors and hoping that they win more. And the people like Fred VanVleet, Nick Nurse, Pascal Siakam, I will stand for their honor against people that tarnish their reputation or say bullshit, out of pocket, stupid ass shit in their content on YouTube. Yeah, that's part of what I do. And that's why I'm on Chev's side, because Chev is a real one and he's passionate about the Raptors. And he wants them to win. Well, that is what I want to. And that's why I'll always be on that kind of side with those kind of people in that one. It's heating up. That's what I hear. But Pencer has little minions that do all of his grunt work for him. In fact, some of them may not even be minions. They may be burner accounts. And Pencer himself coming in and doing this work, trying to act like he's other people to make it sound like he's more popular and he has more people supporting him. I know he does this kind of shit. He has burner accounts. And he'll come in on either Facebook or on YouTube in different places, and he'll start commenting and saying things, trying to act like people echo what he's saying. It's very much a technique people use in today's social media world. Burner accounts, troll accounts, fake accounts that garner a fake support for something that isn't actually there. It was very effective during these elections in the US recently with Russian troll bots. There's so many fake accounts on Facebook that would go on every political post with Trump and Biden, and they would pile on Biden, but none of those were real people. They just wanted to have the illusion that they had so much overwhelming support by inundating with automated bots making constant comments. Well, that's a playbook in some people's way of trying to get perception to be their reality. And that's what I'm saying. They'll make a fake consensus by having a whole bunch of fake accounts, make it seem like this is what the majority want. So be very cognizant and aware of this and on social media of how this tool can be used. And I will bet that he who shall not be named does use burner accounts to try and reinforce his points of view to make people think that there's more people that think like him. How about that? Yeah, bam, 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 Jam Jokes. Bam, bam, bam. Logical saying, Jam Jokes, not gonna lie, you haven't touched the blood sport basketball debate scene. There's crazy hate and beef among people based on opinions. It's like all-time talk most of the time. Listen, we don't need to be like getting territorial, Bloods and Crips kind of shit like this. Like, there's nobody driving over to somebody's house with smoke or anything like that, I hope, with this kind of stuff. That would be just crazy and insane. Mike has described this. This makes me think of this is like Raptors Reddit or something, where there's people that are really, I mean, I know Reddit's always the place that all the horrible, horrible stuff happens. So I don't even want to know what it's like there. I already know how bad Raptors Twitter is. So I can only imagine how about Raptors Reddit would be with asinine comments and people going at each other. Shirkan saying Fred and Pascal are the heart and soul of the team. Scottie and Gary bringing in the young blood and flash. OG and Yak are the two walls that stop the drives and rim runs. Real ones know this is a complete team. It's a really good, complete team in progress. It's getting there. It's closer. It's closer. Now that we have the center, that's another big, huge piece that makes it more like this. But once again, we just need more consistent, real effort from the bench that is coming through with really good production. And then I'll say we're really, truly complete. I can't say it for sure right now. I really can't. I really wish I could, though. I like how you've described each of them. It really is Fred and Pascal's team still. They've been the leaders for a couple years now. They waited for DeMar and Kyle to hand them the reins, and they took them. And then, at some point, Fred and Pascal will hand the reins over to Scottie and OG and other people like that. In some ways, OG is kind of holding the reins with them also on the down low. Sue's saying we can take the Bucks if we play like we have in the last few games. We often play well against them. We can do it. Yeah, we're real good against the Bucks. We match up real well with them. We take one of their best weapons away from them in some ways. Giannis does not play well against us because we have so many good defensive looks to put on him, OG specifically. And then, well, of course, I like Precious on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Works really well. Of course, you can play Scottie on him a bit. Jakob will have his part of slowing Giannis down too. So, this is the thing. We make Giannis have a harder time get what he wants. Especially because he likes to do things in the paint. He's not a very good shooter for the most part, so he really likes going in transition. Well, if OG's fast enough and strong enough to keep up with him, he can slow him down before he gets all that steam coming down the court the way he does against other teams and just kills them. That is a really big part of our secret, is we take away the steam that Giannis has coming down court, going downhill, and he's not as effective in those kind of ways. He's not as effective in a half-court set. He really is a transitional kind of like going downhill kind of dude, and that's where he really flourishes. Well, we don't allow those kind of settings and those opportunities for him. That's the way we can shut him down and get him under his scoring average for sure. Let's see. Shirkan saying Boucher is a plus defender. I don't care what anyone says. How many players are blocking three-point shots like he does? Bring the energy like he does. Changes the whole game. He wants to be here with the vibe. I wouldn't call it a plus defender. Like OG is a plus defender. Precious is a plus defender. But in some ways, Chris is a specialty defender because really the biggest part of defense is important is keeping between you, the person in the basket. And some of the problems is that Chris is just so lithe. He's just so slender that this is the biggest knock on him playing center is that he lets so much go by him. And it's not even his fault. He's not going to get any wider. He can try and hold up as much space as possible, but in some ways he was easy to push around. He's easy to kind of knock by a regular size center. So he's a specialty defender because he's a really good shot blocker, a roving shot blocker, but he's not a good positional low post defender usually. He was doing that Fred VanVleet type stuff on Rudy Gobert, stripping him to really kind of stymie him and mess him up. But he can't really body him and physical him and stop him. He just has to be quick with his hands and knock the ball out of his hands, and then he can be effective. But yeah, it's a weird thing. Chris is a great shot blocker, and he definitely does block threes, and he does some amazing things like that, Shirkan. But he's not a good low post defender. He just isn't. He had some good luck with Gobert last night. But that, in some ways, that fit that matchup because Gobert's really slow and he's an idiot. But it may not work on most big men. Chris will not guard Embiid that well. He'd have a hard time with Jokic also. So it's a case by case basis. He had really good success last night, and I really applaud Nick for having the guts to put him on Gobert for that period of time in the second half. It really was smart at that time. It bought time for rest for Jakob. And Chris was totally effective defending Rudy Gobert last night. So it's a weird thing. I call him a specialty, like special kind of defender. It's not that he's bad on defense. He's really good at playing, but he just doesn't have the size to bang with the big guys. Sue's saying Lopez is a jerk. He is totally a dirty player. He's a thug. Yes, Sue. Yes, speak the gospel. You go, Sue. Thank you for your 2 cents, and I agree wholeheartedly. Mike is saying, Jam Joes, you're definitely right on the Raptors creators, though. I definitely know what you're talking about. Hey, listen, whatever. I mean, I don't want to necessarily get in the middle of the fracas myself, but I mean, I'll probably have my own part, my own little section of it. Jim Joseph saying the only creators I listen to are Chef, Raptors Digest, and you know the vibes. Let's go, Lex. You killed me with that impression of me with that Bucks pack. Spot on. Forgot the cough. Awesome. All right, cool. Listen, I'm doing impressions blind. I've never met Jam Joe's. I've never heard his voice. And I guess just me reading it, I try and read the vernacular of how you write it. So I'll try and read it the way you wrote it. And that's cool. I love that. I'm glad I didn't insult you. The opposite. So cool. I like that. That's a great list. I love the Raptors Digest kids. Those guys are fun. Although I checked in on them the other day and I'm like, holy shit, Ben is older now. Like he's grown, like he went through puberty since I stopped watching him, and he's watching like now he's like a young man. He's got like he's like doesn't have that Peter Brady voice all of a sudden. He's got like a deeper voice. I'm like, holy shit, Riker and Ben are growing up. How you go, Raptors Digest? Their passion is right too, and I love those guys. Honestly, I would watch them, but once again, I don't want to rip off people's takes. So I don't listen to Chev or Raptors Digest. If I say the same damn things to them, it's just natural. It's just because we're on the same page. But if I go watch them, I don't want to be influenced and say, oh, because then I'll be like, I can't have that take because Ben Rogers said that. So it's kind of like I kind of want to keep myself separated. We say the same thing. It's very much because we just did, and it's not because I saw him say it. But I was really surprised how much older and grown up these kids are. Like, Ben, seriously, you're like turning into a young man. Denal saying, Pensair started the beef with Chev, then tries to say squash it and act like it's all good. He has the audacity to tell Chev to give him receipts. So annoying. Love the game. Keep up the great work, Lex. Thank you, Denal. Well, that's funny. Yeah, that's ridiculous. You know, Pensair found out is what happened. He wanted that smoke, and he got that smoke from Chev Nation. And then he found out he didn't want it. And then he started seeing the subscription count go down. And then he's like, oh, shit, maybe I shouldn't have gone into the gauntlet with a real one, a one that has more clout, more followers, more popularity. And yeah, you go ahead and come after a Chev and find out what happens, Pensair, you idiot. Yeah, you found out real quick. You go, Chev Nation. Put that motherfucker in his place. Yeah. Shere Khan saying, if football is the beautiful game, basketball is the unpredictable game. Anything can happen. Players can get hot, cold on a dime. Stars are born at any moment. Let's be happy with the wins and cheer them on. Yes, Shere Khan. Yes, keep it in perspective. Listen, I love this. I love this. Man, Shere Khan, you have a really good way with words. I really do enjoy your comments. And I think you're right. The basketball is very unpredictable, and it's part of the fun of it. We don't know what's going to happen tonight with Milwaukee. I could try and predict this game all kinds of different ways, but I have no fucking idea what's going to happen tonight. It could be very crazy. It could be very cool in certain ways. Yes, and stars are born at any moment. Let's see Joe Weezy camp get some payback against the Milwaukee Bucks. He was on their team earlier this season. Well, now he's with us. Maybe Joe Weezy gets in and he starts bombing some threes against the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. And he really helps with the scoring punch that we need to get to over 130 points. Maybe we need to unleash Weezy, and we'll have a star born tonight named Joe. Yeah, let's see that happen tonight. I like that. Monique saying last night was the last night of OVO nights. I'm so glad we traded back for Jakob Poeltl. He makes everyone's job so much easier. Him and Fred VanVleet have great chemistry on the court. Yes. Yes, this is the last welcome tonight. Welcome Toronto night last night. It is what it is. Those games are fun. I always like to see the black jerseys. They always look nice and smart. And then Jack talking about the Minnesota jerseys. That jersey that Minnesota's wearing last night with the color and the white, it kind of reminds me of like a Eurobasket jersey. It makes me think of like an international league jersey, the way it looks. And then, of course, Jack talking about the lime green jerseys that Minnesota wears sometimes being very bright and very loud. And he's right. In fact, I was kind of pissed off that they had that guy at the end line over near Nav's section at the end, over near the Milwaukee bench. They had this dude sitting with this bright lime green hoodie on, and it looks so distracting. Like, it is very bright. And these guys are trying to shoot free throws, and there's this dude, this little green dude sitting over on this corner with his hoodie. I'm like, damn, that is so bright. It's like I have to divert my eyes. It's so bright. It's burning my retinas. Yeah, that is something. I agree with you, Jack. those lime green Minnesota Timberwolves jerseys are a bit much. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Let's see. Banana Bread Tan saying Big Six makes sense. Gary Trent Jr. is the MVP for being able to do what he does coming off the bench. No complaints, pure professionalism. Poeltl makes our future solid. So excited to see Precious and Koloko. Yeah, I don't want it to be between them because they're very different players. And in some ways, we like seeing Koloko getting more time recently, but I don't want it to be at a total detriment of Precious. I really do want Precious to get in every game, Nick. Play Precious. He's valuable. If he doesn't have it in the first stint, you put him out there in the first half, then don't play him in the second half. But you should be able to trying to get him out on the court to give him some chances to contribute because he is super talented. He's such a good defender. And he is one of those guys that really does help like flesh out our bench and make it better. You need to give him the opportunities to succeed and give us good contributions. And you won't if you give him DMPs. And that's that. I have a problem with that because Precious is a very good player and we should be playing him every game. Mike's saying there is a bonus to ending the G League season early. This 50-game restrictions are lifted and we can really plan out the resting properly before playoffs. That could be the adjustment at this time. What do you mean? You mean if they don't make the playoffs in the G League, then, there's some things we can figure out with Jeff and Ron as far as like what we're going to do with them and stuff like that. I guess. I don't know. I'm in the Masai Ujiri line of thinking. We are playing to win. What are we doing? We just want to win. Well, why aren't we not doing that on 905 level? Seriously, why? Seriously, Masai, go and check that out. Maybe you go to look at that. You didn't realize. It's like, oh, I didn't realize the 905 is not playing so well. You guys are not trying to win like I like you guys to do. We're about winning. And why are you not winning 905? That's why maybe Masai needs to have a little chat with the 905 people and say, like, y'all, we're about winning. Why are you not winning? Fiercely saying was in shock when Gobert attempted a handle, dribbled his way to the net only to miss an easy layup. Yikes. I know. Seriously, this dude, like, seriously, he's an imposter. Like, this dude may be like robbing the NBA and teams that pay his salary. Rudy Gobert. Yeah, Danny Ainge figured it out. He's like, I got to get this Gobert out of here. He is just stealing money from us. The guy, the way he plays and what he's doing. I feel like that's what he's doing. He's just stealing money from teams at this point. KG saying, good morning. Good morning to you, KG. Common Crazy saying, fair. I like your channel. All right, cool. Listen, I wish I could not cuss. In fact, if I could be like, the old radio times are different than this because I go in little bursts. I'd announce the song. I'd do a little chit chat. I could really do it non-blue. And I do have many, many years of being on FM radio and not cussing. It's just, this is me unleashed. And because I'm so freeform from what I'm saying on my head, I don't pre-plan any of this. I really am talking out of my ass. In some ways, people say, you're talking out your ass. Like, well, you're damn right I am. It's freeform. In some ways, I'm just saying what comes to my mind immediately. And unfortunately, there are curse words that immediately come to my mind. I appreciate you, Common Crazy, and appreciate the subscription. I hope you'll join us quite often. Guys, in the next couple of days, we'll have tomorrow the reaction to the Milwaukee game tomorrow, of course. But on Tuesday, it is trivia. So you guys get ready. Everybody who likes to play the Raptor Freak Classic Jurassic Tuesday trivia, we'll have trivia at 9:30 a.m. on a classic Raptor from before. So be ready for that, trivia heads. We're playing at 9:30 on Tuesday. Fun Guy saying, to be honest, Lex, you started off for a very long time tame, but now you're unbound and swear, and I think it's for the better. Shows passion. All right, Fun Guy, I appreciate that. I mean, it does mean that I really do care. But yeah, if I had kids, I'd probably be a different person. Seriously, I would probably not cuss as much as I do, but I don't. So, hey, I'm going to take all the benefits on the other side of the grass. If I don't have kids and I don't have the green grass of that side of my life, well, then I'm going to enjoy the things that I get to enjoy without having kids. I've always cussed on this channel, Fun Guy. I may get more intense at different times and cuss more, but at the very beginning, I was already cussing. In fact, people were already telling me, like, why are you cuss so much? Why do you cuss? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I should not cuss so much. Maybe I've told Greg and Mike, don't be like me with your channels. If you can get away from not cussing and dropping F-bombs, don't do it because it will turn off a certain amount of people from wanting to watch your stuff. Because at a certain point, I noticed like Mike's just cussing up a storm on Logical Raptors Fanatic. And I'm like, Mike, you don't need to do that. You record it and you can edit it. I'm live and I don't know. I'm unfiltered. but in some ways it won't serve you. In some ways it's fun. Maybe put a little bit in there for some gumption, but not as much as like crazy, like dropping F-bombs every which way. And even when Greg does it on Gubstown Clink, I'm almost like, Greg, don't cuss, man. You don't need to. You can do your channel and produce and do all that kind of stuff. It's not that I want to be the only guy who cusses. It's just that if I could get away with not cussing, I probably would, but I can't. It's just so unfiltered, and it's just honestly me. Nameless is saying, however you managed to win, congratulations. You found the correct way to win. Exactly. It doesn't the equation may not add up the same way every time. You may add different factors in. There may be a different little y factor with this on this reciprocal, and this, the equation to get to the W is always different, and it may have different weird like parts to it that aren't in every night and not consistently the same thing every day. And that's what we just have to accept. This is why Raptors fans that get nitpicky about stats and people getting certain amount of points every single game, just shut up. Because these guys all collectively add into one big pot to get it to the W. And it's not about each individual and how much Scottie scored or how much Fred scored or this. It's about, does everything that they put together add up together to beat the other team? And if you look at it that way, it's way better. And you stop putting so much responsibility on individual players for how much they carry each and every night. That's bullshit. Stop doing that. If they all add up together and it equals a win, that's all that should matter to Raptors fans. It really is all that should matter. Let's see. Monique is saying, everyone played well. Love all the great passes that lead to baskets. Keep it going, guys. All right. You know what? Monique has made me think about the team stats. Let's go take a look at the team stats yesterday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Raptors manufactured 5 more field goal attempts than the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's always good. We love to have more field goal attempts. We made 9 more field goals than them overall, shot 53% to their 46% from the field. That is fantastic. There have not been a whole lot of games this season where we can say we outshot the other team from field goal percentage. Well, last night was one of them, and that's a big part of us winning. We really killed them at the three-point line. In some ways, the Timberwolves are not a very good three-point shooting team. They only had 5 three-pointers at 22% from the field. We had 9 free three-pointers at 33% from the field, 9 of 27. Very good beating them at threes. The free throws, they got 7 more free throw attempts than us and made 7 more free throws than us also, but not bad. I mean, I hate seeing Pascal miss so many free throws. It is what it is. 86% from the line for them, 81 for us. So they did beat us at the line. But the refs also handheld in them, getting them to the line more than us. We out-rebounded them by 3 rebounds. It was a close rebound battle last night, but we won. That's what matters. 9 offensive rebounds to 9 offensive rebounds, even right there. The assists, we didn't get to 25 assists. And this is the thing that made me think of this, is Monique's talking about the assists and the passing. Well, it seemed like they should have more assists than they did last night, only 23. But, they were really moving the ball well, regardless of that only being 23 assists. I thought they would have way more in the game the way it was looking last night. But 23 is the number. 11 steals, fantastic. A lot of that's Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet. Get in those passing lanes, messing stuff up, and going the other way and getting easy baskets. Because our fast break points were 18 to 16, where we got 17 points off turnovers. Both teams had 15 turnovers, so we didn't really win the turnover battle. That was very even. And then points in the paint, very even also, 64 to 64. So this is really cool and interesting. Normally we win by getting way more shots and not shooting well, but just making more field goals over the other team. And normally win by out-rebounding a team or getting more points in the paint or having way less turnovers. Well, the way we won last night was just straight up out shooting the other team. And that's fantastic. We don't normally win games like that this season. We've been a very poor shooting team. So maybe this is a trend showing that we're turning it around and we're finally becoming a good shooting team because we're out shooting a team like the Timberwolves last night. I love it. I love that so much. Monique's saying we need a slow-mo for that OG dunk or even a montage of OG making steals in slow-mo and doing dunks, ending with, I think I smile. Play some really nice, like classical music, some low key music or something. And then maybe just like make it really cheesy and just show it ferocious dunks. And then just have like OG kind of chill and just say, I think I smile. Just like have a like a really well produced thing like Paul B wants to do or something. I know the Raptors are putting together dunk highlights and posting it on their YouTube channel these days because honestly, there is such an amazing amount of great highlight dunks the Raptors have been throwing down in the last 2 months that they gotta have a highlight reel right now. There's just too much goodness and fun stuff. I am so ready for the end of the year dunk highlights for the Raptors this season. There's going to be so many cool ones that we forgot that are just so amazing. In fact, the dunks this year for the Raptors on the down low have been the best dunks ever in the history of the Raptors, maybe other than Vince Carter kind of stuff around 2001. But otherwise, yeah, this has been some of the most amazing athleticism and crazy ass dunks this season. You think about the Chris Boucher free throw dunk. You think about the OG elevation, like standing next to the basket and throwing it down on people on offensive rebounds. You think about Precious and some of the ways he attacks the rim and gets so high above the rim this season. The dunk highlight reel for this season may be one of the best years of dunks in the history of the Raptors franchise. Honestly, seriously, I think that. Mike's saying, I saw a good positive on Gary Trent drive. They collapsed on his closer to the basket. And he made a great pass, like a dump off action. It was what I've seen from Gary Trent trying to grow his playmaking skills. Yeah, this is a really good sign. And a lot of people on Twitter were making note of this, that Gary was actually passing last night. And I love it. I'm so here for it. I mean, Gary, it's going to be really good because you'll get that back. It's just like they say, everything comes around, goes around. And Gary, if you're going to put it to somebody else, you're going to get it back. You were always getting it back anyway. But in some ways, this is a really good development. It's good for Gary's game, and it'll mean better money for him and his contract. And it's just going to make him more and more a complete player. In some ways, I'm worried about him being too selfish and not looking to pass at all, ever. But now, instead of just stepping to the side and trying to make his shot no matter what, well, he'll dump it off, like Mike said. And that's a good sign. I really do like this development. Jam Joseph is saying, let me see, I jumped. At Raptors superfan Monique, I know that 8-5 is the record with Yak, but the first Jazz game where the hit job came right away for Yak, that should have been a W. And of course, Scott Foster, 2 games, so we got robbed. This is a really good point by Jam Joes. That 8-5 record should, in reality, maybe be 10-3. That Utah game where he first showed up, he didn't have his legs under him or understood the Raptors. He literally played for the other team the night before almost and switched jerseys and just showed up and played against the Utah Jazz with us that Friday night. And that game was close, and we could have actually won that game if Poeltl had been more acclimated sooner, faster. And then, of course, the Scott Foster game is a straight up steal of a game. So I totally get what Jam Joseph is saying here, and I agree. We could have easily been 10-3 with Jakob Poeltl on our team at this point, actually. And I completely agree with him. Monique's saying this is the type of Raptors team I'm used to. Chemistry incoming. Chemistry is beautiful. And Scottie loves it. He thrives in this kind of team concept and feeling like a part of the team and seeing really unselfish play, not just by him, because he is a very unselfish player, but seeing more unselfish play by Fred and Pascal and Gary and people around him, really, like, he loves this kind of stuff. I really do think Scottie loves playing for the Raptors. We worry about his future and whether he'll stay with us long term. Well, I feel like things are going right and correct, and that in a lot of ways, he really does love playing for the Raptors. He had a friend here this week come up and visit him in Toronto, and on the Instagram, they posted some pictures, and it's really cool. I saw a picture of Cardi, his dog. And his dog has gotten so much bigger since we've seen Cardi, the Rottweiler that Scottie bought last summer. And now the dog is looking like almost a full-size guard dog in his house. But there were pictures of the dog with his friend who was up in the six. And they were talking about how his friend was up in Toronto and how cool it was. And in some ways, they were kind of celebrating the feel of being in the six and being in Toronto six life. So Scottie really is taken to our team. And honestly, the unselfishness and the chemistry that's happening right now is the kind of stuff that makes him fall in love more and more with the Raptors. Trust me. He's a team player and he wants everybody contributing. And when he sees all of his teammates being just as unselfish as him, that really makes him happy. Trust me. I know it does. Let's see. Shirkan saying the bench was missing Gary as per Nick Nurse. He is the hero pool of our team. Yeah, that's true. Even better with Theft Fest on the court. Gary on the scene, disrupting the action. Gonna love it if we keep all free agents next year. Well, this is the puzzle pieces for Bobby Webster and Masai to figure out. How are we going to do this? Obviously, very much priority is Jakob to me. Fred in some ways, hopefully he doesn't even opt out and he just stays on the 22 million for next season. In some ways, I'd like him to do that. Although Mike has said that's not good and they need to have him opt out to do something different with his contract. But I don't know. We'll see. We really do want to keep all three of those guys. If we can keep Gary too, this just fits. And we already know how well he does with us. It's just like Jakob coming back. Well, why do we want to switch him out for somebody who may not work? It may not be a fit in all kinds of ways. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I really hope that the Raptors front office has that kind of philosophy this summer. And what we're doing with our team and our core, it ain't broke. So don't try and fix it, is what I'm saying. KG is saying, is Poeltl the new leader of this team, or can he become the leader? He is one of the leaders. But I think, listen, that because these guys came in together, it's just really, really fits real well. Because honestly, they were all rookies together, Pascal, Fred, and Poeltl. They bonded in their rookie year. They're very much like a cohort, like in school. They came in as freshmen together. And that is such a strong bond. And in some ways, he knows he was gone for a while. And this really is Pascal's team as the superstar and Fred's team as the captain. That he doesn't want to step on their toes. And he knows that they're both very effective at those leadership roles on this team existing. But there are leadership roles and kind of things that Jakob can do on this team and really be helpful. And whether it's being a very vocal person on defense, whether it's somebody that's just on the team, kind of like, listen, I have this level of personal excellence that I carry myself with and how I put effort on the court and how I work so hard on rebounding and defense. I expect you guys to mirror me on what we're doing out there. And if you are not coming up with the same kind of effort that I am, then I'm going to be like, why aren't you working as hard as me? In some ways, it's not going to, he's going to say that out loud, but just the presence of him working that hard, you see the byproduct in the gumption of Scottie Barnes on the boards now. Like he is totally rebounding differently since Jakob showed up. Scottie is way more aggressive on the offensive boards, and he's putting back stuff in a lot of a very authoritative, like aggressive way, like these dunks that he's putting back on offensive rebounds. And that's what I'm saying. He's a leader by role model, Jakob Poeltl. That they see him busting his ass every which way physically and on the boards. Well, they feel like they need to do it too. It's very much like Yuta used to do for us when he played for us. He was a role model with energy and getting all out hustle. Well, Jakob has that kind of leadership in some ways on the rebounding and the physicalness and the just trying all out physically. And I love that about him. He's definitely a leader in that way, KG. Smooth saying, where's Drake? Have not seen him in a while. I think Similu should be the global ambassador as for the Raptors. It looks like they're rounding into form. Yeah, I love it, Smooth. It's so good. Well, the last time we saw Drake, he got capped in the head by a gang of female robbers and dumped over the side of his yacht. I think that's the last thing I saw of him as far as what's going on with Drake right now. He's dead in the ocean, apparently, according to his latest video. So I hope he's all right. I don't know. It's Drake. Hopefully he's okay. But the last I saw him, he got capped right in the head and he's in the water. And 21 Savage is next to him. Logical saying that was the place Powell couldn't get to, becoming a playmaker. So the switch was made to help the core better. I don't know. I always thought that Powell was okay at passing and doing stuff, but maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. He wasn't really looking for it. Now, Gary has not done a whole lot of work in this area. It's just very recently we're seeing this. In fact, as of last night, it's not like he was looking to pass most of the season. This is a very recent thing, and this is a good development. It very much is, Mike. I agree with you. They're now saying, I don't know why Powell keeps talking smack about the 2019 chip. Is he salty that we traded him away? It's weird. Now saying we got lucky. Lex, that mascot story got me in tears. Laugh out loud. Awesome. I love that, Denal. I love that you enjoyed my mascot story today. It was really dumb and fun. I've heard Norman talk about our championship a couple times, and it pisses me off. Yeah, I don't like that either. Norman, don't sully something that you worked very hard on and accomplished. I know you're with the Clippers now, and maybe you listen to Kawhi and you guys talk about that championship because Kawhi has really fucked up ideas about that 1 year here in Toronto too. And he's the one who said he didn't think that the team was good enough to repeat, and that's why he left. Don't go in that kind of line of thinking. It's true. There's no reason to tarnish your shit here, Norman. Don't do it because we are still hearing you in Raptors Nation. And when you say stuff like that, you get points deducted in our eyes as far as being a loyal former Raptor. Nobody should be talking shit about the 2019 NBA championship, especially one of the people who was on the team. Because listen, all you do is feed the fire of people on the other side of the border that discount our championship and make it seem like it was an accomplishment or it's like kind of bullshit. Yeah, don't do that, Norman, because it doesn't serve you, man. So why would you even fucking do that? If you don't have anything nice to say about the 2019 championship that made you a champion, gave you a ring, don't say anything at all. How about that, Norman Powell? Yeah, because you lose points with people like me. I've heard this before this season too, and it really disappointed me, Denal. And if he's continuing to say stupid shit about our championship, what the fuck, Norm? Seriously, that doesn't serve you. Why? Why are you doing that? Jam Joseph is saying at Shere Khan, I think we're the only two people that believe this in the Raptors Nation. Well, we're gonna see what happens. Fred has too many intangibles that you cannot teach. I think this is one of the things that so many people that hate Fred overlook. The intangibles, the things about him that really super high IQ, the really, really smart ways that he manipulates the game on the down low and controls things. People don't realize how much Fred actually does on the court other than just shoot. He does so many things on the court, important, very, very important things. And I appreciate Jamjo's putting a shine on Fred for the intangibles because this is so damn true. It really is. Smooth saying all this beef going on is unfortunate. These dudes have their own perspective and need to chill. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's Pensair's fault, honestly. He shouldn't have ever went after Chev. There's no reason. Listen, Chev coexisted without knowing you even existed way long before all this bullshit happened. He's kind of like a fly. He's like, what is this? There's a fly on my shoulder kind of bugging me right now. Yeah, that's really how Chev should treat this. Because listen, he asked for it. He got what he got. And that's the thing. Pensair, you want to be like that? Come and try my smoke, motherfucker. Yeah, you'll find out real quick with me, too. Let's see. Logical saying, Jamjos, don't let the trolls make you feel alone. There's a lot of real ones out there, and you found the spot where these people out. Welcome, bro. Yes, Jamjos. That's what I'm saying. That's why positive Raptor fans that love this team, that are passionate about this team, and only want this team to win and win more and more Larry O'Brien's, just like Masai Ujiri said, that's what he wants. We're more in line with Masai Ujiri. We're real ones. And that's what I'm saying. You found the right spot. We needed this channel because this year was difficult. This year was full of a lot of confusion. This year was full of a lot of losing. This year was full of a lot of ups and downs. And, perception is reality. Well, these motherfuckers out there want to put a negative perception out about the Raptors over and over again. Well, I'm going to fight the good fight the other way and put that positive perception about the Raptors out there because it's only fair and balanced when the balance is there and there's two sides. And in some ways, maybe I am overly optimistic. Maybe I am a little pie in the sky. But listen, am I pie in the sky right now? I don't know. You tell me. You watch the Raptors play right now, and you tell me who sounds about right about this time. I didn't want to give up on them the whole entire year, and thank God I didn't. Thank God I didn't decide, I don't want to do my stream anymore because the Raptors are really shitty this year. No, it was really important to do this stream this year to keep that light shining in dark times. And that is why this channel is important in Raptors Nation, to keep that light shining when everything seems too dark and depressing. And we did a very good job weathering the storm this year together. And it's not just me. Y'all kept me off the cliff at times. I would be like, yeah, this fucking sucks. We just lost 6 games in a row, and I hate this so much. I'm on the ledge. Gee, talk me off the ledge. Bam. G talks me off the ledge. I feel way better. Bam. Shere Khan says something positive and enthusiastic. Bam. Makes me feel better in a dark time. So it works both ways. I try and help you guys see the light, and y'all bring me back also when I get a little too down also. And I really do appreciate this. Really, really do. Denal saying, Lex, only thing I'll say about the cussing is imagine your niece and nephew wanted to watch their favorite uncle Lex and found a stream or video. I love you being you. Just nice if there was a balance. this is actually very true and something that we've dealt with already with this. They do want to watch me, but they're not allowed to. And we talked about this. I messed up when I went to Florida to help my parents move, and I cussed in front of my nephew because of what I said. I have a child-free life. I don't live a family lifestyle because I don't have a family. And well, I cussed by accident in front of my nephew, and my brother got really mad at me. And we were moving. We're in the moving truck, and we're moving stuff around. And I got irritated, and I dropped an F bomb. And Harry was right there, and Carl got so mad at me. And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? He's right, and I have to respect him in this way because I'm around his kid, and that's my nephew, and I don't want to be like that." So you know what I did? I thought about it for a bit, and then when I got the opportunity to do this in front of my nephew and my brother, I apologized to him, and I apologized to my nephew also. I showed a good example of taking accountability for a mistake that I made, and I apologized to my brother in a heartfelt way and made it known to Harrison that this is how I felt about this. So it became a learning opportunity after all. But this is something I'm grappled with. You know, they were on my stream last year when I went down there. They did a stream with me where we ranked the best mascots in the NBA as far as what are appealing to kids. And it was so fun. And of course, I didn't cuss on those, and they were a part of it. And it was different. But in some ways, I don't know what to do about this. You know, they're going to be teenagers soon. They'll be old enough. And well, I should probably still be doing this when they get old enough. And then maybe they'll grow into being able to watch me at some point. But it's funny, my niece, she loves what I'm doing, and she's very much somebody who wants to do shows also. Like, she's always trying to make content herself, like a cooking show or something like that. She'll get on and she'll film herself, like making cooking stuff. So this is something that we come by naturally in my family, kind of like wanting to like make shows and stuff like that. And she very much takes after me in that kind of way. But yeah, as far as things, yeah, I wondered about this. And I wanted to make this sacrifice for my niece and nephew in a way, but in some ways I don't in some ways because I don't know if they may be into watching me for like a split second and they'd be like, yeah, I'm bored with Uncle Lex. I want to watch something else. And then I've switched my whole format just for that. No, I'm not going to do that. So I thought about it from all perspectives because this was an issue denial last year. And I talked about it with my brother and we talked about it and they know about my channel. They know, listen, one of the things they do is he'll listen to me for a little bit. And if he hears me start cussing, then he'll turn it off and he won't let them listen anymore. So there's a little bit of them trying to listen to me at times, but I don't know. I don't know how to deal with this exactly. I'm just going to wait till they're old enough. And I think that, you know, I mean, my niece is going to be a teenager soon. So yeah, it'll be soon enough. They'll be old enough to watch me and no problem. So, and they're the only like niece and nephew I have. So it should be easy. But an interesting point, Denal, just so you know, that's how it looks. Jam Jose is saying, yeah, you don't know. Okay, that's that Mike. Mike's saying, ooh, I kept forgetting to say this though. Have actually checked. Nobody has had the number 10 for the Raptors. That signals intent to retire 7 and 10. If that's the case, it really is. I knew this, Mike, already. I knew this. I've been saying this for a couple of years. Nobody's allowed to wear number 10 since DeMar left, and nobody has. I knew this. I've been saying this. He's going to get that number retired right away. That's totally a signal for this. That's a good number. People would have wanted to take the number 10 since DeMar DeRozan left our team, but nobody's allowed to. It's an unwritten rule. Nobody's allowed to take number 10 because it's going to be his jersey in the rafters eventually. This is totally true. And it's the same thing for 7. Nobody's taken 7 since Kyle left either. So you're exactly right, Mike. And I knew this. I knew there's no 10 since DeMar left. Blackhawk saying, just woke up. What's up, Lex? Ready for Giannis stomping tonight? Yeah, let's build that wall, that buck wall against Giannis. Let's make this deer not be able to run. Let's put up some barbed wire. And maybe that deer will get caught up on that tough wall and not be able to go gallivanting down the court and run like a deer. And no, there's a wall. OG, hello, bam. Hello, you're not going anywhere. Monique saying this is probably your four biggest stream yet. W stream all around, Lex. Always keep climbing. Go Raptors. Togetherness at all times. Let's crush the Bucks. Yes, Monique. Such a passionate, great leader in Raptors Nation. The superfan Monique Lawrence. We love superfan Monique Lawrence so much. And we're going to be really looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday when Tom Duke comes to Toronto and we go to the game on Wednesday. Indiana Pacers. We'll be there, Monique. We're going to be looking for you. We'll come look for you at your regular spot. And you know what? We're not sitting that far from where you're sitting. So you may be able to even hear us and wave to us from where you're sitting on Wednesday, where we're going to be sitting very close to you. So watch. You'll see all of us there. Monique saying, "What a time! Enjoy doing the chapters, Tom." Tom's doing a good job. I like how he's breaking it down. I go in and edit it afterwards because sometimes I like kind of highlighting certain talking points that I make. And I just want to make sure that chapter is described in that kind of way. But yeah, Tom does such a good job. I really do appreciate the work Tom does on the Raptor Freak channel. Such an important part of this team. Leslie is saying, "Stay true to yourself, Lex. Don't change and keep it real." Thank you, Leslie. And same to you, Leslie. You're a beautiful, awesome person. I can tell from all your comments over the year or so that we've been interacting. And I really do appreciate the regulars, the people that are here all the time and on a regular basis. You guys are just the best. And I appreciate you, Leslie and Hart, so much. Mike's saying, "No doubt, Lex. Never tap out. We're riding with guys. Great vibes. We're looking better and better each day. Our guys are going to make us proud. I believe in this team. W stream, Lex, always." Thanks, Mike. And I'll probably watch your stream. You did a stream yesterday or the day before. I might check that out and see what you were talking about at 6 o'clock one night. I think it was during one of the games that you were streaming. I was like, man, the game's on. I'd watch Mike, but I got to watch the game. Smooth saying, "It's disappointing that Norman is devaluing the 2019 chip. You don't hear Dirk downplaying his chip. You don't hear the 89 Pistons devaluing their chip. It's a whack move." Yeah, I don't understand. It doesn't serve him in any kind of way. Why are you doing this, Norman? Like, it's not smart. In some ways, you're insulting your good friend Fred. In some ways, you're insulting your good friend Pascal. You devalue our chip and you say it to the press. Well, that just doubles down on the haters that don't think that we deserved our championship because of Kevin Durant's injury. I don't like this, Norman. I really don't. I really don't. I hope that he can like change his ways and how he thinks about that. Just change it, Norman. Sheer Khan saying, "Powell's just salty. He's still mad that he was traded twice. He got the opportunity and got the bag with Portland. I don't get it, but these guys are millionaires with irrelevant rants to make them feel good." Well, I didn't get that from him. In fact, it was fine. Maybe he was sad to leave the Raptors. That might be right. But ultimately, Norman got exactly what he wanted. He plays in California, in his home, where he's around people that he knows, UCLA. And then also, he's from Southern California. So he's at home just like Kawhi is. So what's not like to like, Norman? Listen, you guys are never going to win a championship in LA. So shut the fuck up, Norm. Listen, seriously, bro. You may never win another championship. Why are you degrading it now? It's not very smart, Norman Powell. Quick Takes is here. Good to see NBA Quick Takes. I think the Raptors could win today. I think we could too. There's a chance. Yeah, I think there is a chance. I really do. We play the Bucks so well. Historically, we do really well against them. We're due. We've lost both the games against them so far this season. We like to even things out with them a little bit better and win both these games that we have against them going out. This one tonight, and then the very last game of the season, we'll see them here in Toronto for the last game of the regular season. So if we can win both these Milwaukee games going out, we even the series, and we're 2-2. And I'm all about evening the series, not letting them win the series. In fact, that's one way Nick could frame this. Do we want to let the Bucks win the season series against us? Well, they win tonight, then they do win. Three wins, and it doesn't matter in the last game. We win the last game is 3-1. Well, we want to even it. We got to win tonight. And that's what I'm saying. Wayne's saying, "Looking forward, our bench contribution is on the cusp of consistent contribution, and Will Barton is the key. I'm optimistic that Precious finds his role outside of the center position. Go Raps." I love what Wayne's saying here. He's saying a couple things here that are important. We have to remember, Will Barton is very, very new to this team. He's still finding his legs. He may still be finding his offensive rhythm. There is a certain amount of offensive production that he's consistently made throughout his NBA career for many years, like over a decade. And that's what I'm saying. There's something about Will that will get turned on at some point still that we haven't seen yet. And that it could very well be anytime. It could be tonight. And we could see this outburst of offense with threes and going to the basket and setting guys up as the backup point guard for us right now. That really helps bring us to another whole level is what Wayne's saying here. And I really do think it's him getting more acclimated and comfortable being around the Raptors and playing for us more. The reps will get him there. I want to see him get comfortable and flirt with a 20-point game. That would be very, very fun and very good sign for helping us in a playoff run, a play-in matchup, whatever we have coming up in the postseason. We want to get Will going. And then the thing about Precious is exactly right, Wayne. We need to see Precious outside of that center spot. He's no longer like our backup center at this point. He's going to be a different tool off the bench as far as a utility defensive player that's similar like OG, or even like a burst, kind of change the pace of the game, kind of throw something in there to really make things more explosive, kind of guy on offense, possibly also. So I'm very excited, and I do really feel like I'm going to predict right now, even though Precious has barely played in the last 2 games, he's going to get rotation minutes tonight, and you're going to see him have a very important part on the court in containing Giannis Antetokounmpo. Fiercely saying authenticity. Authenticity is the key. Don't change how you communicate with us, cussing or not. We support you. Thank you, Fiercey. Listen, I wonder, like, I'm cutting out a market. Maybe there's some little kids that watch me and they know they shouldn't. Like, I'm wondering if there's like a little kid that's like really into the Raptors, and they're like 6 years old or 8, and they know about the Raptor Freak channel and they watch it like behind their parents' back. I worry about that sometimes. But listen, if they found me and they love the Raptors and they listen to me enough to be that in depth, they probably are adult enough to understand the cussing and stuff. Although we do get into some topics that aren't really for kids, whether it's the political stuff or some of the, there are some things that are said on this channel that are not for children's ears. But I wondered about that once. I was like, I wonder if there are any little kids that actually are sneaking around watching me. And it was like, kind of like, this is a rebel thing to do because you're not supposed to be watching me. It's not for kids. Well, there may be at least one kid watching me right now. If you're that kid, write in the comments and tell me that you're 8 and you're watching me. I'm 8 and I'm watching you. And I'll be like, oh no. I mean, I'm sure people can hear crazier things just in their everyday life out on the street or something like that. The whole problem here is people try and shelter their kids, but in some ways it's better to be like open and honest with them and just let them know the truth and try and like that way they're not shocked later when they find out things, and things are so taboo when they're younger that they go into them and they have problems later in life because it was so forbidden before. That they're like, oh, I got to go do this. So I'm very much the kind of like, if I was a dad, my kids I'd be very honest with them. In fact, I'd probably tell them the truth about everything. Like if they asked me about the war in Ukraine, I wouldn't lie to them. I wouldn't give them a kid's version. I'd tell them straight up what's going on over there in a very adult way. And in some ways, I feel like that's a good way to give a service to your kids. But you do have to kind of weigh like traumatizing them or like kind of ruining their bubble of innocence by being too honest with them. I feel like that's the big balance for parents with their kids. It's like you want them to be knowledgeable and understand the world in a real way, but you do also want to have that gate of protection and protecting them from things that maybe is too young for them to know about. The problem these days is kids are finding out about sex younger than ever. In fact, one of the most disgusting, awful things that's happening in the United States right now is that not even teenage pregnancy rates are going up. Pregnancy rates are going up in middle schools. It used to be the issue was with high school kids getting pregnant too young. Well, now middle school kids are getting pregnant too young. And in some ways, the way with the internet and porn and everything that's out there is so bad, it's really hard to safeguard your kids from not learning about stuff at an even younger age than ever. And that's scary to me. In some ways, I'm glad I don't have children because this is stuff that is very scary and stressful, I'm sure, for my brother and his wife. And I wouldn't want to have to deal with that to a degree in some ways. I'm not a very mature person in some ways. So I know I would be a good dad, but in some ways also I'd be like, man, I might let my kid know too much and like mess them up because I was too honest with them. I don't know. It's such a weird balance. And in some ways, I don't know what that's like. So I can't tell people how to parent their kids or what's right or wrong for them because I have not had to deal with that. It's very, very interesting stuff. But I appreciate that comment, Fiercey. And yeah, I can't help but be me. I'm just me. That's just who I'm going to be. That's it. That's how it is. Comma Crazy saying Pensera is a good content creator also, though, all opinions side. He's flashy. He's got a nice microphone. He's got a lot of people that follow him, but it's just he steps in it left and right. Like if he doesn't like the Raptors, why does he cover them? I know he doesn't like us because seriously, he doesn't act like somebody who likes the Raptors. So I don't know. I have many problems with him. See, this is the thing. I don't know him as Panzer or his channel. I know him as Robert Misovich on Facebook. And I saw the smear campaign he was coming after Fred like 3 years ago. And that's when I wrote him off. I was like, no, I won't. I blocked you on Facebook because you are inciting problems and causing issues that don't need to be happening by trying to turn Raptors Nation against Fred. It's the same thing he's been doing for like 3 years. It's just he changes his criticism of them to whatever he wants to make it the next. Now he's saying they didn't win right last night. What the fuck is that? That's what I'm saying. So he's singing the same song as a songbird for a while. And I cut him out a long time ago. And it wasn't even on YouTube. It was on Facebook. And his name was Robert Misovich, not Panzer. So I don't know. I won't tell anybody, like, listen, you can go and decide for yourself. Go watch him. And if he's for you and you do enjoy what he's doing, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I don't have any respect for him. Sure, he can be what he's doing, but I see him as a problem in Raptors Nation because he causes really dumb perception among people in some ways about what he thinks about Fred and thinks about the Raptors team. In fact, he said recently that Poeltl was bad for our team. I'm like, how the fuck can you make that argument? Seriously, there's no possible way you can start that and have any traction where I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. There's no way you can tell me that Poeltl's been bad for this team. And he tried to champion that idea recently. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Tom's got the W's out like crazy. Cool Cat saying, I tweeted about Norm's statement. He needs to be like Kawhi. Shut up and focus on where you are currently. I regret buying his Portland jersey and clothing line. It's stupid. Wow. Cool Cat's that diehard. See, she's a real one. That's a real Raptor freak. It's like she supported and loved Powell, but he's stabbing us in the back verbally now. And she's like, I regret getting his Portland jersey. Wow. See, Norm, that's what you got to worry about, bro. I thought it was funny when that lady was yelling at you in a Las Vegas gym last summer and like cussing at you, and you had to call the police and they came and hauled her off the jail. It's like, yeah, you go, Norman. You're a badass. I really love you, Norman. I know how special and important you are to OG and Fred and Pascal and Chris and the other guys. This really does disappoint me. If he's continuing to do this, I know he did it once, but if he's done it again recently, man, just shut up, Norm. Seriously, please. Please. Tom Duke's saying, let's go. And Smooth saying at Shere Khan, you're right. Just hurt. The fan base loves Norman. Yeah, why is he doing it now, though? He could have said it right afterwards, but he's saying it years later. Does he miss out on the good vibes of the six? He sees the fun with Poeltl coming back. He understands the bench mob. He's on that picture, too. Maybe he wants to reunite with the bench mob. This isn't the right way to go about getting us back and getting back to us, Norman. Not that that's probably realistic or what happened. Once again, you go down that road with some people, you just don't want to go back up it. It's not that we don't love you or like I would be okay with you coming back. I could see where you'd be useful. But in some ways, what the fuck? This doesn't serve you. It's just like you're hurting yourself. It's kind of like you shot the gun through one of your toes and your foot. Why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. Let's see. Space Cadet saying define good content is continuously trashing on your team good content. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you want to hear all the shitty things about the Raptors over and over again? Sure, we talk about that here. We talk about critical stuff. We talk about how they could get better, but we're with the intention of wanting to lift them up and raise them up to higher levels in playing. I don't think he cares about that. In fact, when you see that he's upset still while we're winning, that really gives the tell away that his intentions aren't good for the team. The team's being successful and getting a win streak going right now. And well, he's not talking or touting or talking about the success of it. He's being critical still. And that tells you all you need to know right there. That's all you need to know. Mike saying Andy Hoops actually made a video on us being a possible dynasty and broke down exactly why Kawhi left. And people understand what happened with Kawhi choosing LA for his family. That's great. I love content makers doing stuff like this. Hell, I love hearing somebody painting a picture of how we can become a dynasty. People have laughed at me in recent years when I've said the Raptors have dynasty potential. They're like, you're kidding me. They let y'all win one. They're never going to let you win another one. Well, you don't know Masai Ujiri, and you don't know how driven and how focused and how much of a winner and successful person he is in his life. And that is the thing that will carry us there is his guidance in steering the ship and his drive. And his willingness and like his no nonsense. We have to be this good, guys. And if we're not this good, if we're not hitting these marks, well, we're going to get somebody who will come in and do it. That Masai really is the driving force towards us building a dynastic championship team over the years. And I seriously, my goal on the down low, I tell people this, is by 2035, I'd like to have 5 NBA championships in Toronto. That I would very much like to mimic the time span that the Spurs had with Tim Duncan, with Scottie Barnes. Well, we got our first championship without Scottie Barnes. So can we get 4 with Scottie Barnes over the next 10 or 12 years? Well, I'd like to see if we can. It'd be very similar to what the Spurs were doing, kind of just jumping up every couple of years and getting in the finals picture and stealing a championship every once in a while. Well, let's try and be that kind of franchise now. We're kind of set up for it in some ways, especially if somebody like Andy Hoops is seeing it and putting it in his content. So I love hearing that. And of course, everybody knows why Kawhi went there. He made a dumb mistake. In fact, you would probably ask him, and probably even right now, or maybe in the years to come, he's going to tell you he fucked up when he left Toronto. I'll bet you he already thinks that right now. I'll bet you money he does. Shirkan saying, W stream yet again, Lex. Love the vibes, and let's go get another win. Rap streaking at the right moment. Real ones know that this is the time for us. Bring it on. You go, Shirkan. What? Seriously, you're like rookie of the year, bro. You're going to be like a rookie of the year for this season. Shirkan came in with a force on this Raptor Freak channel, and he has made and established his space, and I love it. This man is a great one, a real Raptor Freak, and I appreciate his addition to the family this year. Smooth's another new one that I'm really enjoying having around too. Smooth's been badass too. This is my final comment on Norman. I lost respect for him after those comments. He's truly an opponent now. You're right. If you don't have something good to say about 2019, just say nothing. It just doesn't serve him. And listen, when we played him since, he does get up against us and have really big games. I've noticed that when we played against Norman since, he really does try and rise up and kill us. Yeah, I don't know what to think with him. Listen, I love you, Norm, and that's what I'll say. It is what it is, but hopefully, you can come around on this and maybe realize the error of your ways. Maybe you'll get the echo back from us that we're not cool with what you're saying right now. And maybe you'll be like, oh, shit, they are still listening. I'm not all the way in L.A., and they don't hear me. Well, Raptors Nation will hear you, Norman, no matter where you are. Isaac saying, I've never heard Justin Bieber swear. That guy's pretty clean. Well, you know what? I think Justin lost his voice at some point, Isaac. We remember when Justin first started appearing on this channel, he had a really annoying voice. And I think at a certain point, it was decided that he shouldn't talk. So Justin just doesn't talk anymore. He's more nodder and kind of just like comes in and hangs out. Are you saying you want to see Justin Bieber this morning? Is that what's going on here? He hasn't been on very often. And when he showed up yesterday, it was kind of really fun because you don't see him. And then when you do see him, it's kind of like, oh, Justin's on. Yay, Justin, he's still around. Yeah, it is kind of like that. He's kind of like a secret weapon. I only use him in certain ways. You may see him more in the off season, to be honest. Than the regular season. We're all business right now, but it may be more fun and games in the off season. So you may see more Justin Bieber in the off season this summer. Quick Takes is saying this guy is a Scottie Barnes lover. Yeah, listen, man, I spent so many hours with Scott last summer on Twitch. I looked at my stats from Twitch at the end of the year, and I spent almost 200 hours of my life over the summer with Scottie on Twitch. And I really did get inside his head. I really got to know him. Like when you sit on a Twitch stream with Scott for 10 hours straight, you really get to know him. Like he did have a marathon stretch where he was on Twitch from like 2 p.m. until like midnight one time. And like, it was so long. And I'm like, we're still online and we're still here. And at some point you see him eat meals and continue to play. And then you see him starting to get tired and yawn a little bit more later. It's like, it really, like, this was such a gold mine. And when I met him and I told him, I said, look, Scottie, thank you for doing all the Twitch this past summer. It really was because I liked getting to know him more intimately, getting to know him really inside and out. And watching somebody on Twitch, on a Twitch stream for like almost 200 hours, you really do start to get to know him. And the things I learned about him are a mixed bag. Most of it's very, very good. And I love so much about him. But there are things about him that I worry about. But for the most part, he's just a good kid. He's got everything right on his shoulders, the right head, the right attitude. And I have total confidence and faith in him to get big W's and get rings for us. Seriously, this kid is all about it, and he's just a good one. And I love the guy. I am a lover of Scottie Barnes. I think he's just an amazing young person. I'm so happy he's on the Raptors, is what I'll say. Fiercely saying Pensair should market himself accordingly as a Raptor hater. It really annoys me to see the team being kicked on when whether they lose or win, and how he enjoys pinpointing the issues more than the efforts. Yeah, it's not like he's helping them. Like, seriously, they're not going to watch Pensair and say, oh, that's what we should have done, Nick. Listen to Robert. He knows. No, they don't give a shit what he thinks. They don't fucking know. You don't fucking care. They're more likely to hear what I'm saying and say, yeah, Raptor Streak had a really good idea this morning. He is saying that we should do this and this against the Bucks. Oh, yeah, let's try it. Boom. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, is either they're thinking the same thing as me. It probably isn't that they saw me and heard me say it. It's just that I saw the with my eyes and thinking, oh, this is what they should do. And then boom, well, Nick does it in the game. And it makes total sense, you know? That's the kind of thing I wonder about with him. I'm like, whatever. You're right, though. He should market more honestly what his channel is about. Monique is saying Lexathon in full effect. Gotta love it. Oh, yeah, we're going to get to 4 hours today. There's just too much to do today, Monique. Between reacting to 2 Raptors games yesterday and previewing a huge game against Milwaukee tonight, there's just too much to talk about, for sure, for sure. Logical's thinking fiercely spitting facts. Wayne's saying if the Raptors are not good, why aren't we just left alone to lose on our own? Yeah. Like, if we're so not good, why do you bother? Why are you even here? I think it's because he's getting paid by other team people to kick us while we're down, or kick us when we're up, or just cause confusion, or try and win that perception is reality war by putting out bullshit takes. He is very much like Fox News for Raptors Nation, y'all. He really, really is. He might as well fucking be the Raptors version of Tucker Carlson. Seriously, that's how he's been compared in the past by some of y'all in the chat. I believe this. The Pensair basketball is like the Fox News of Raptors content. Seriously, that's what it is. You want to go there and get all messed up and worried and agitated? Go ahead. You come here, you'll hear the this is a warm hug. And like, hey, good to see you. You're my friend, and I love seeing you. You have a passion that is shared by me for this basketball team. And that's what you'll get here. Meanwhile, over there, you may get confusion, unsettledness. Fred's this. Oh, Poeltl's this. Oh, Nick Nurse is this. Oh, Fox News. Denal saying, is me, Lex. You're 8 years old. Denal, are you 8 years old? Seriously? Okay, well, then maybe I kind of have to get a little dad vibe on me. You know, Denal, make sure you eat all your vegetables and you listen to your mother. Okay? I'm going to actually, I might start doing this, Denal, even if you're not 8 years old. Maybe this will be a running joke now. I'm going to worry about Denal being 8 years old. Now, if you really are 8 years old, hey, more power to you. You're a very well-spoken, worldly, young 8-year-old. And I appreciate your patronage on this channel. Seriously, what a brilliant young 8-year-old Denial is. Very mature and very astute and intelligent for such a young person. I love it. Denial, you are like, wow, you're really blowing me away here. NBA Quick takes us in. I don't think Scottie Barnes is that guy that's going to lead us to a championship, but anything could happen. Well, let me counterpoint what you're thinking. The reason why I think this is because he's got what Magic Johnson's got. He's got what Larry Bird's got. He's got what LeBron James has got. And that's an all-around talent that makes the people around him rise up, and play better also. May not think that he has this yet, because in some ways it doesn't seem like he does, but he really does. On the down low, he just has so many intangibles, so many different skills, and he has the right aptitude and attitude in the way he carries himself that he can go and explore those things and grow into them more and more. You're going to find that he's an intangibles guy. He's a glue guy. He's a Tim Duncan kind of guy. And that leads to W's. That's the thing I'm saying. Guys like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, they didn't necessarily win by scoring a lot. They won because they were good teammates and they made everybody on their team better. And that is the kind of player Scottie Barnes is. He's in that same kind of ilk as those kind of guys. He may not be super ultra superstar like they are, icons, but in some ways he's on that scale and he's closer to them than almost everybody in the NBA. Trust me, seriously. So I really do think he is a championship driver, much like a Tim Duncan or a Magic Johnson. And you're going to see it in the years to come. And I'm all here for it. Raptors get those championships and get that dynasty going. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, Lex, I think summer Twitch streams are over for us. Good thing we had that summer with him. We understood who he is as a person. He is growing up and a businessman, so our access to him is cut off. I think you're right too, Cool Cat. I really, really do highly doubt that we'll get a second summer of Twitch with Scottie. And it's sad in some ways, but in some ways, I think it's good because he is growing up and there is probably better things he could do with his time than hang out with all of us on there, even as much as we enjoy it and it's fun. There's going to be way more responsibilities and stuff that's going to be calling for his time, whether it's ads campaigns, whether it's doing this. He's still got to do all the work that is important for the Raptors as far as working out, weightlifting, doing all that kind of stuff. And that the part of the pie that may shrink is obviously that kind of stuff with us. I think that he did get turned off from dealing with us because of that Aiden Ross flight clip that he was reacting to that one day. They were horrible. First of all, Flight, you're an interesting guy. You're on YouTube. You're a React guy. You're funny. You're kind of a clown. You make music videos. In fact, I watched one of his videos on Friday. Really bad video, but he is a musician. He makes videos and he's putting music out, but he's also doing his React streams. And then Aiden Ross. We know about Aiden. He's one of the most popular Twitch streamers. He has so many people watching him. He's really goofy and corny. Well, they're best friends with Scottie. And when we were watching a clip of Aiden play Flight one-on-one on a dare or a bet, and they were horrible. Like, these dudes are horrible on the court. In fact, I told Scott, I said, I could fucking beat these guys at basketball. And he got insulted partly because so many of us were dissing his friends and the way they played this game. They couldn't hit any shots. They looked tired. They looked out of shape. They were pathetic. And I said to Scott, I said, you can't watch this. You need to watch better basketball because it'll affect your game, how bad they play basketball. And I think that all the noise from us, the negativity about Aiden Ross and Flight turned him off. And then he said under his breath on that stream, he said, you guys won't be seeing me here very much anymore. And after that, we didn't. And I really do think it was because we were too insulting towards his friends, Aiden Ross and Flight. And I understand why, but you're online, Scott, and we're not all going to see these guys like you do. They look like clowns to us. And the way they were playing, it was absolutely dreadful. And basically, I said to him, it's like, you need a palate cleanser of good basketball after that shite that you just watched. And I think because we were so critical and coming down on it, and maybe he's like, these guys don't have any room to talk about my friends like this. I think he got turned off at that moment. And it's too bad. It sucks because he has not really shown up since what it was like last October, maybe the last time he did. And if you look on his Twitch stream, he took all the old streams down. There's nothing up there at all. And he has not been on there for 6 months, pretty much. So all signs are pointing to this. Some could say he's just buckled down. He's just very much focused on the NBA season. And maybe we'll see him in the offseason when he has more time open up. But it could be the slices of pie in his time are going to be taken up by other things like ad campaigns and all kinds of other demands of him in general. But who knows? I'm holding out faith. Maybe possibly he'll show up one last time. I sent a message to Lloyd this week because of the Oklahoma City Thunder game. That's his favorite team. And I was thinking, we were talking last summer that Lloyd would come to Toronto to see Scottie play against his favorite team. Well, he didn't come. And I sent a message to Lloyd. He liked it, but he didn't write me back. Lloyd is somebody I could maybe suss out and find out what Scottie's going to do this summer with Twitch, because him and I do communicate independent of Scottie, and he'll listen to me. And he does have a link to Scottie to be able to talk to him. So maybe I'll talk to Lloyd and see what he says about this whole situation, and whether he thinks that Scott will be back for Twitch playing. One of the problems is, too, that Scottie hates 2K23 at this point. It's not fun to him anymore. And that was the fun thing. And he doesn't like playing COD either. So when he gets on Twitch, he doesn't like playing video games anymore, partly because people would find him online and want to kick his ass because it's Scottie Barnes. They get on COD and they know it's Scottie Barnes and they target him specifically, and he would get unfair disadvantage because everybody's gunning for him because it's Scottie and they want to make a name for themselves. This is the same thing on the 2K game too. People were coming in and trying to beat his ass because they wanted to brag that they beat the Rookie of the Year. And in some ways, the games were not fun to him anymore. In fact, you'd see it on Fall Guys. He'd be playing Fall Guys, and everybody would run and try and push him and mess him up, and everybody would get more of an advantage. He'd be at a disadvantage because people were targeting him. So he really became more like a reaction stream near the end, and it was really more about him watching Raptors clips or funny OG clips and reacting to them, and that was fun and that worked real well. But the video games got really like annoying to him, and that's part of it. I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, in some ways, I want to find out though. We'll see how it goes this summer. But you may be right, Cool Cat. That may be a one and done summer, the summer after his rookie season, a special summer that I'll never ever forget and cherish forever. Fiercey Salsera, Cool Cat, Isaac Campbell, Tom Duke, all of us that were in there as regulars all the time. We will always have that summer of 2022 with Scottie Barnes on Twitch. We'll always have that summer. Let's see. Mike saying, I always defended Norman whenever our fans were talking about him being overpaid and stuff. I remember the ups and downs. It hurt a bit to hear Powell's comments, but ultimately maybe it's a Clippers thing. I don't know. We said, he just doesn't need to be talking about this at all. It's the past. Don't sully your achievement. Monique saying, be proud of yourself today, Lex, for the stream. Go Raptors. Thank you, Monique. Oh, listen, I don't like to be too prideful or anything, but I do appreciate that, we have this stream going and it's strong. That, listen, this is a big deal. I really do appreciate getting numbers here and people being here. And forget about me. It's really a lot of it has to do with you guys, and you guys love the Raptors enough that you want to listen to me for a couple hours sometimes. Denal saying, yes, sir. I'm 8 with a wife and 2 kids and a factory job. Laugh out loud. Thank you for the compliments, good sir. I shall inform my parents that they did quite the job in raising me. Could tell your niece loved the camera. She does. She really does. She is a natural performer. In fact, I was teaching her clown, the theater skill, clown, not like to be a clown, but I'm trained clown. Like I know how to do clown from like taking classes and going to clown school. And it's a performance. Like it's like pantomime or like a monologue. You can do clown and you can do it. I was teaching her clown one time. It was really good over Christmas. And she did a clown show for the family. It was really good. Listen, if you're 8 and you're married and you have 2 kids and a factory job, I'm going to guess that you live in the 1800s. All right. On that note, let's do a wrap up real quick before I get to 4 hours and really, really get too far. All right. Our 3 stars for the game last night against the Timberwolves were Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and Gary Trent Jr. with special honorable mention to the other 3 guys, Poeltl, Anunoby, and Barnes. Not a bad job by them at all. Good win by the Raptors, extending their home winning streak to 7 games, 3 games in a row now. Let's beat Milwaukee tonight. Very disappointing 1-point loss by the Raptors 905 to Lakeland Magic last night. Sterling Brown, great in the losing effort. Joe Weezy, okay. And really, really, really like the dedicated heart that Ryan Hawkins showed in that losing game, hitting the floor, trying to do everything hustle-wise to help the 905 in a futile, sad 1-point loss at the last second. Really sad to see that happen. Our injuries for tonight, Milwaukee has Grayson Allen and Brook Lopez as day-to-day. Meanwhile, Goran Dragic and Jay Crowder are out for sure. On our side of things, we got Delano Banton out once again today, and Otto Porter, and that's it. Our referees for the game tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks, Zach Zarba, Trey Maddox, and Natalie Sago. The refs are not bad. Zach Zarba actually does favor us. Trey Maddox definitely favors us, but Sago does not. She's the one. She very much loves the Milwaukee Bucks. All right, y'all. Keys of victory. Nick Nurse, you're going to need a lot of scoring punch tonight. Milwaukee scores a lot of points, and only teams that beat them have to score at least 130 points. So you do the math. You're going to have to get all those 6 guys that get double digits for us recently, more points even, and maybe even add another guy that gets 7 guys in double digits tonight, just to keep that punch up, to try and match the Bucks with their possible scoring prowess. We may have to get in a scoring race, and that may mean making a lot of shots and having a very efficient share the ball kind of offense. And you guys have been doing it very well lately, so try and do it again. Obviously, any kind of success we can have on containing Giannis in different ways is always good. Whether we build that Giannis wall, we got OG Plumbing Company trying to shut him down with the big wrench, or Precious coming in and getting rotation minutes tonight for specifically defensive purposes to try and slow down Antetokounmpo. Any of that can work, Nick, but this is the problem. We are on the second night of the back-to-back, so really maybe look at some of the guys you didn't play as many minutes last night to help fill in some of the minutes tonight because they're fresh. All right, guys. I believe in this team. We're playing the #1 team in the NBA tonight. We're playing the Eastern Conference #1 seed, the Milwaukee Bucks. They are a juggernaut. They're a real deal Holyfield. And if we beat them tonight, we can make a name for ourselves. What was it that Ric Flair said back in the day? To be the man, you got to beat the man. And well, the man is Milwaukee. And I'd like to be the man by the end of tonight. 8 o'clock p.m. tip-off Eastern Standard Time. Be ready for the Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors. Let's jump all over them and kick their ass. All right, y'all. Thanks for commenting and watching me today. I really, really appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will be back tomorrow with the reaction. I love you all. Let's go, Raptors. Stay passionate, stay positive, and stay a real one in the fight for perception to be reality. The positive ones will win out in the end. We don't want no dystopia, any sad, bad, sad place. We want sunshine and happiness and goodness and positivity and winning. And that good side will always win out in the end if you believe. All right, y'all. Have a great day. And let's go